97.1 FM Talk.
Happy Wednesday. Welcome to the Annie Frey Show. We're happy to be with you this afternoon. We've got a fun guest coming up here in the middle of the 1 o'clock hour because I know that what everybody's worried about right now, gas prices are through the roof. There's a pause. It's weird to say there's a pause in Project Freedom, Operation Freedom. Is it Project or Operation? The defensive maneuver for the United States. This thing out of here. For the defensive maneuver in the Strait of Hormuz to strike back anything that comes ablazing at us as we try to escort ships in and out of the Strait of Hormuz. Lots going on, but what we really want to know from you today is what happened to Star Wars.
Is that why you said strike back?
Did I?
Yeah, you did. You did. Are you sort of relating that to
Star
news?
Wars, not Star Trek.
Okay. So this is just a straight up Star Wars question.
Yeah, the Enterprise strikes back, right?
The Enterprise strikes back. That's correct.
Little
That's the way
mashup.
that. Yep.
I'm going to do that all day.
Please do. I like the other franchise better.
All day. We're not just going to be Star Wars nerds for the day. And yes, it was May the 4th on Monday. A brief anecdote about May the 4th. My daughter's birthday is on May the 3rd. She was due, I think, on May 6th. And I could be induced because I was into my 39 plus week. You can be induced after that point. And I was induced on May the 3rd because I did not want to have a May the 4th baby.
Oh, I thought that you did end up having her on May the 4th.
No, May 3rd.
Oh, okay.
No, my dad was really pushing for Cinco de Mayo, but we decided to opt for May 3rd so that I didn't have a Star Wars baby. I mean, that was actually a part of my birth plan.
Well, we kind of breezed right through Cinco de Mayo yesterday, too, didn't we?
Taco Tuesday.
Oh, yeah.
We had tacos last night.
Good for you.
Of course, you've got May the 4th, and that's did you guys honor May the 4th?
Yeah, we did. We did at least one segment on it, and then we kind of talked about it here and there.
Oh, I forgot you did the show that day.
Yeah.
See, I didn't even work that day.
You were,
it's like,
you were
forget
off.
about this. I'm not even showing up to work. I think that there's an interesting reason to talk about Star Wars specifically because is there a bigger fall from grace in the entertainment world than the Star Wars franchise? Star Wars, is there anything that's been more successful historically speaking in entertainment? I'm sure you could think of some things that might be tied up there, but the longevity, the fandom, the cult following, the money that's been made off of it, Star Wars has done all right.
Well, I would say Star Wars is probably number one. The only one that would knock on the door as far as longevity goes and money would be Star Trek or Meet the Press.
I'm going to meet the press girl myself, a little russet in my life.
Formerly.
Yeah, well.
Formerly Chuck Todd as well.
Yeah, he looks
too.
like a beaver.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Doesn't he?
He retired to go do that.
Did he retire?
Mm-hmm,
Did he get retired?
So. I don't know if he got retired or not, but he said, I want to go.
This will happen to
build
me
dams.
one day. Maybe sooner than later. You never know. But nobody in media retires.
Not when you're that young.
Well, no. You decide you're not going to take the next deal.
Oh, okay.
That's how that unfolds. You get to the point where you're like, you guys don't want me here, and you're making it very clear. So we're gonna part ways. But I think that if you look at the history of entertainment and the importance of incredible storytelling, that Star Wars, over the course of a decade, with the original 3 movies, it's kind of what everybody, like, that's the golden goose. That's what you would hope when you're creating things. You're hoping you create a story that changes the course of entertainment history, for a whole variety of reasons. I mean, I've been to a land that is created to look like Star Wars. I've stood underneath a replica Millennium Falcon. I was not moved emotionally or spiritually by it, but I was around people who were.
Mm-hmm.
There's meaning behind it. What happened to Star Wars, and using that as and kind of an epicenter for a much broader conversation that we can go through today. This is where I'd really love your feedback. What else did entertainment turned preaching kill?
Star Trek.
Star Trek.
Yes.
We can go.
We don't have to go very
Trekkie
far.
in the room's like, give it its due.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's been one really good series out of the last 7. but the rest of them are all preachy.
So you're a Trekkie.
Yeah, kind of.
And Brad, you're a Star Wars guy.
Yeah.
I'm neither, but I love a good story. I like to be entertained. Simple yes or no question. Would you love to see these franchises be restored to their natural order? No pun intended.
Of course.
Yeah.
You're not... Star Wars is dead to me. Forget it. I'll never go back.
Oh, no.
Don't you love it enough? It's like a girl who got away that you still love. You feel unrequited in the way that franchise is treating you. You still want it back. There's still something there. There's a spark, people, and we can get it back. Here's why I bring this up also, because did you know that at May 13th, the week of May 13th, that Top Gun is going to be back in movie theaters?
No.
Yes. Top Gun 1, which you can finally see for the first time, Ryan Wiggins.
Okay.
And Maverick in movie theaters. And I'm so excited to take my kids, my older two specifically, maybe Evelyn, she's 10, and we've watched that movie a million times at home, so she knows the story. I want them to experience what the movie theater is supposed to do to you. Seeing a production that was made to be seen in the silver screen, and that is just a good story. I've raised my children. My son being born in 2009, 3 more who have come after that. We have raised our children in a desert of good storytelling. Everything that's ever been made, there's always a lesson to be learned. And the best movies, the lesson is there, but it's like there's a story that also exists apart from it. What if we got away from that? And I think that now we're looking into a future where we kind of, I feel like the dust has settled on the, cancel culture is one thing. I think that's in the rearview mirror. I think that the idea that you're going to go sit down and be preached to and you're going to like it, that is certainly over. People have said over, and I mean, you can kill a movie, you can kill a production, you can kill something that's on streaming, you can kill it with these actors and actresses that go out and say these really asinine political things before the movie is ever even visible to the public. You can kill it before it ever gets to that point because people are tired of it. I really think that we have to acknowledge this culturally, societally. Project Hail Mary, I've talked about that. Annie goes to see one movie and she's like, folks, the culture is changing. I understand the irony here, but Project Hail Mary was just a really good movie. There was nothing in that film that made me be like, okay, that's where they got their thing in. It wasn't slight. It wasn't small. It wasn't a side adventure. It was not there. It was just a story that you were going to go love. And if you like sci-fi stuff, you're going to really love it. If you're me and halfway through, I looked at my husband. I'm like, so what are they doing again? Because I didn't understand it. And that's fine. That's not my forte. Ryan Gosling still did an incredible job in that film. The little side character, I'll say, if you haven't seen the movie yet, incredibly charming. You care about it at the end of the movie. You're cheering for what you want to have happen at the end of the movie. It's just a good story. And I played this clip on the air. I think it was before I went to see the movie because this is what made me think, oh, well, I'm interested in that. Ryan Gosling surprised a New York theater before the movie started by walking out in front, and everybody obviously goes crazy because you would too. And he said, he was like, I want to thank you for coming here. We made this movie for you to experience in the theater. And he said, it's not your job to come support and prop up the entertainment industry. It's our job to give you reasons to come here. And I thought, that is the right move because we have been treated as little ignorant students who have been lied to and manipulated by the big evil fill in the blank here, whatever in your life is big and evil. And we've been misled. We've been misguided. You have to have your eyes opened up. You have to approach the world through an entirely new perspective, and you need to sit down and shut up and we'll explain to you the things that you haven't learned. I'm over that. I get my truth from Scripture. I learn about it on Sunday morning, and that is the foundation with which I set forth my relationship with my husband, my parenting with my husband towards our children. Everything I do, that's the foundational thing that's the lens for my life. And I get to choose that. And you get to choose for that not to be it for you as well. I don't need to be sat down, told to shut up so that I can have a story force-fed to me anymore. We don't need that anymore. But we are incredibly lacking in good storytelling. Tom Cruise seems to get it. And he's a Scientologist. So it's not like this is some sort of religious zealotry thing that I'm trying to bring to the table. Good storytelling matters. And I want to say, if there are good stories being told, it is probably our job to go support them and to reward that respect that we're seeing from certain filmmakers to the audience to say, we want to entertain you. That's all we want to do. We want to entertain you. When it happens and it's in your lane, you need to support it. Just because that's the counter to, it's not so much canceling, but just good old-fashioned free market capitalism, where you go, I'm not going to sit down and I don't even know. I do know, and this is how bad this is. I only know this from being a conservative talk radio show host that gets fed these things in my algorithm. But there was a Star Wars that was like a circle of lesbians that didn't need man to make babies. Did that happen for real?
Yes. It's The Acolyte. It was a series.
So that happened.
And it was a miss? You got to be kidding me.
Yeah.
People were like, children, gather round.
Speaking of capitalism, I didn't watch that one.
Yeah, but that's my
Me
point.
neither.
That's my point. When we do have opportunities where people are taking a different tact and saying, let's tell a really, really darn good story here. If you want that back to what you were saying, you'd love to get the Star Trek franchise back on track. You'd love, Brad, to see the Star Wars franchise back on track. For people who have been part of the participant in the, there's the boycotts and the boycotts. This is the boycott time, where if you see something, and I don't know what those films are. I'm not here to pitch anything. Nobody's asking me to say any of this. I'm asking to be, I'm telling myself to be a participant in the investment of good entertainment going forward, because we are a society that desperately needs real entertainment. Every nook and cranny of your life that used to be entertainment in the last 15 years has been flooded with political messaging on the left and the right. It's not like this is something just the left does. The right will do it too. What if we just got back to having a portion of our life where we were just simply entertained? How refreshing would that be? I think we'd all be a bit happier for it. I think it would be, I think it would help the mental health of our culture. Let's shift gears. So the poll today, is the Star Wars franchise dead? No, and you love everything about it. No, but they need to write the spaceship. You see what I did there? I want a little more, like, affirmation.
Oh, yeah.
There you go. Could you say it like Darth Vader?
I don't know. I'll think about that. Oh, yeah. Okay.
You sound like sick Darth Vader.
Oh, yeah.
Is the Star Wars franchise dead? Yes, it's cooked, or you never cared about Star Wars. Those are your options. And I really would love to get feedback from you in the YouTube chat, but also on the Annie Frey Show text line, 314-241-9797. You can talk specifically about Star Wars, or to throw a bone to the Trekkies like Ryan Wiggins out there about Star Trek. But tell me what else out there that entertainment has, the last 15 years of entertainment has just killed and destroyed. What do you want to get back? What do you care about enough that you want it back? 314-241-9797. When we come back, our friend Dustin Grage from Minnesota. Did you know Ilhan Omar is getting a subpoena or something? Fraudster. Maybe. We might find out soon. Dustin Grage from the ground in Minnesota next. The Retirement Advisory Group and Bob and Tammy Kershaw, Thomas Helbig, of course. These are wonderful people who have the expertise to usher you over the bridge from working to retirement. That retirement you've been dreaming about, traveling, sitting still, fishing, maybe building a shed out on some property and being able to go out there and do woodwork or whatever it is. I don't know. Every time I see my parents, they're just living retirement to the fullest. What does it look like for you? And can you do it? Are you ready? When you talk to the Retirement Advisory Group in a no cost, no obligation review, 314-993-9494, 314-993-9494. They're going to provide you strategies to make sure that you get that participation in the market growth, but you don't have to fret about market downturn. 314-993-9494. You can trust the folks at the Retirement Advisory Group. They're wonderful people. Find them online at retirementkey.com.
The ACA Market Plan has just announced significant increases on their monthly premiums for 2026, with deductibles over $10,000. You can enroll with Greg Hammond's Freedom of Choice plans now. You don't have to wait. One of their plans lets you use any doctor, has zero outpatient deductibles, and it's 30 to 60% lower than most Obamacare plans. Other options are full coverage PPOs with national networks, copays, and 100% annual preventative care. Also, there's no income disclosure required, so no potential tax penalties. If you pay for your own health insurance, you're uninsured, you're on COBRA, or your employer coverage is just too expensive, call Greg, and they'll provide all available options. Call 314-794-7784. That's 314-794-7784. Or go to greghammonds.com. That's greghammonds.com. He can custom design a plan managed and chosen by you, not the government.
License number GL250000615.
Hey, it's good to hear you.
Hey, Dad, isn't it good to see ya?
Yep, but with smoke alarms, we need to hear them. If one alarm is downstairs, you might not hear it upstairs.
At school, everyone hears the fire alarm.
That's why we install hardwired smoke alarms that all go off together, just like school.
Smoke alarms done the right way.
Green is always grasser at grasserhomeservices.com.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free exit information kit. 800-948-7878. That's 800-948-7878.
Nothing makes a gathering great like Eggland's Best Eggs. They're just so delicious with better nutrition, too. For us, it's eggs any style, as long as they're the best. Eggland's Best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs. The Annie Frey Show is St. Louis conservative.
Squad Democrat Ilhan Omar closing in on a deadline set by Minnesota Republicans to turn over documents about potential ties to a state fraud ring after she dodged a hearing last month. Our senior correspondent Mike Tobin is reporting live out of Chicago. He's got the latest details for us. Hey, Mike.
And Sandra, that deadline is today for Minnesota Congresswoman Ilhan Omar to turn over documents and communication tied to defendants in that massive Feeding Our Future scandal. The Minnesota House Committee on Fraud Prevention and State Agency Oversight is holding its last meeting of the legislative session today. However, the committee does not have enough votes to subpoena the Congresswoman, so the committee doesn't have a legal mechanism to compel Omar to cooperate. The chair of the committee has sent Omar multiple invitations and requests for documents. Omar does not respond. Omar now sponsored the 2020 Meals Act, which removed the guardrails on COVID relief money and helped the fraud run up to $250 million. Despite that, the chair of the Fraud Prevention Committee does not anticipate the Minnesota congressman will respond by the deadline.
So they're trying to issue a subpoena to Ilhan Omar there in Minnesota, but we know that the vice president, J.D. Vance, keying in across the country on fraud not leaving Minnesota unchecked. Let's get to our guest. Dustin Grage joins us once again, Minnesota-based columnist for Town Hall, providing political analysis and research. Dustin, welcome back to the show. It's good to have you here. Thanks for the time this afternoon.
Thanks for having me, Annie. Always great to be here.
Awesome. Will you talk to us a little bit about the fraud? So we've had several conversations with you about the fraud that exists in Minnesota, but there's a lot that's happened since you and I have talked about actual investigations and exposure of what that fraud looks like. Can you talk to us about what we know about what has been exposed in Minnesota?
Yeah, so I mean, this really goes back to the Rufa report. Rufa report, then comes Shirley, and then comes the whole thing blowing up. But as we know, investigations don't just drop as soon as you pull out an iPhone and start videotaping that there's no kids in a daycare. You have to have an actual investigation. So we're told anywhere, up to like 6 months turnaround. Well, it's only been 3 to 4, and we're already seeing raids now at this point. So that's very reassuring. These are also granted by federal judges, so you need to bring actual evidence forward to show that, yes, there's enough substantial proof to be able to even warrant a raid of some type. So these are signed off. There's probably going to end up being a lot of fraud found. And very specifically, and this is a really big kicker here, Annie, is that in these specific 9 daycares of the 22 different locations raided in these specific raids, from 2023 to 2025, the payments doled out to these specific daycares doubled, despite having just about 100 kids total extra. So it went from about 950 to about 1,050 children at these 9 locations, but the payouts doubled. So what happened? There wasn't a double increase in kids or anything like that. It just doubled, and likely it's going to end up being fraud. And it's no coincidence that Nick ended up actually visiting 2 of these daycares that were raided. Another state representative, Elliot Engen, actually ended up visiting one of these as well, suspecting them of fraud. So already I know at least of 3 of these daycares that were visited by private citizens and members of the legislature, suspecting them of fraud. And now we're finding out that they're getting raided. I have the utmost confidence that there will be a lot of fraud in these 9 daycares specifically, as well as a bunch of autism centers that were raided. And I also predict that this isn't going to be the end. This is also just the FBI and HSI investigations. This does not include the fact that we have a state U.S. Attorney's Office in Minnesota that really just got their legs back. Many might remember there was mass resignations of Democrats that were in that office, so they didn't like ICE, so they left their job and whatever. Well, now it's restaffed, so now they're going to be going after fraud from that angle as well. And personally, I've already sent them a couple different tips that I've been personally investigating. So we're going to see plenty more raids coming out of Minnesota. The fraud is far from over, and this is just the beginning.
Yeah, I think that Minnesota feels a little bit like ground zero for the exposure of fraud. We've all had this idea that fraud exists. Everyone, when you don't have if there's no way to quantify it, it can kind of exist in like this infinite perpetuity of how big could this possibly be. But the actual numbers that we're starting to get from investigations, yes, when the vice president brings the fraud team in to try to expose it. But I can imagine that a lot of what they're going off of is what investigative journalists like yourself, Dustin Grage, are looking into. Nick Shirley, of course, who has taken his talents out west to California, begging for him to do what he's doing here in the state of Illinois, because even there is some justice in exposure. It's not the full breadth of justice, but the fact that these things are being exposed and now across, I think Ohio has seen a lot of investigation based on what's been exposed in Minnesota. It may stop it from happening in the future if it's not completely, justice issued here from what's happened in the past.
No, completely agree. And a lot of this start with USAID and Doge and really digging into this stuff. I mean, Data Republican, Walter Kurt, a couple of the individuals involved with the swatting cases, as well as with me. I just also find it very coincidental, like, all these journalists that have been looking into this fraud are getting swatted, and potentially it's USAID funded. They're connected to the CCP. All these people and organizations that just want to see our republic fall are very, very upset that we're catching on to billions and billions of fraud that are going to fund these left-wing organizations, and ultimately it's going to hurt conservatism in our elections because they're basically just money laundering a lot of this stuff. And I think that's where a lot of these investigations are going to end up finding out. There's a giant racketeering scheme happening before our eyes.
So what does it look like in Minnesota from the efforts that you've put in, Nick Shirley, many other people who have been looking into these things? Of course, Nick Shirley, the video that he initially had that went viral, he was partnered up with somebody who had like lots of research on saying, we should go here, see if there are any kids here. Look at all those cars. They haven't moved in a year. Just one after the other. What does justice look like for Minnesota taxpayers, Minnesota voters? What do you expect to happen next?
I mean, you'd expect at least someone to get fired, Annie, but nobody's been fired. The closest thing we have seen so far to this point is that one individual didn't get an additional promotion. So the new DHS director that was set to be confirmed apparently just fell short by a couple votes by their own party to be confirmed because they were worried about their elections coming up in November, so they didn't want to vote her through. So she wasn't fired, though. She was just kept as deputy of the DHS program, and she's actually going to still oversee most of the actual Medicaid programs involved with this when she was in charge of auditing this entire thing and making sure the program was up to speed. The people who ended up overseeing all this, no consequences. They're going to retain their jobs despite going against whistleblowers, despite also DHS, we found out through our legislative auditor, that they were backdating documents when they weren't up to code and they were doctoring them. Ugh. That's what we found out also as well.
More fraud.
So like, it's horrible all across the board. Everyone's a fraud. But hopefully, I mean, if there's legitimate criminal implications here, people should also go to jail.
Yes.
But these investigations have to begin in the first place and, come right back to Ilhan Omar. I think I heard in the clip there ahead of time here. We were just looking to subpoena here for a couple of these records because she's seen in Safari Restaurant, which is one of the largest pieces of Feeding Our Future. She's friends with these individuals. Some of her former campaign staff are a part of that restaurant, and they have all been not only indicted, but not only charged, but they've actually been convicted in Feeding Our Future. Tens of millions of dollars with this specific restaurant alone, and she has communications with them, but she won't hand them over to the state with the subpoena powers because back when we have a tied house right now. So if we had a simple one majority, we would have the ability to subpoena because we'd be able to pass. But we had a power sharing agreement that was able to at least get us the Speaker of the House. So Republicans actually have the Speaker of the House right now in Minnesota, which was able to form this committee. But part of the agreement in a tied house, because we ended up bringing them to court over one of their elections they actually stole, a man who didn't actually live in the district he was running in. So that kind of gave us a leg up legally to hold the speaker versus a shared speaker. But one of those things is, unfortunately, we don't have subpoena power in this new committee that we had with a simple majority. You need a two-thirds majority. And, of course, every single Democrat who has campaigned with there as well, because a lot of these are Minneapolis, Twin Cities-based legislators on this committee. Of course, they want to throw those individuals on there to continue to protect the fraud. They unanimously voted down the subpoena. So we also have these state legislators also pushing back against this. And even 2 weeks ago before that, we had hearings, impeachment hearings, ready to begin for Keith Ellison and Tim Walz. Well, all this vote was going to do was bring it over to the Senate so they could investigate it.
Sure.
That's it. Just investigate it. Every single Democrat on the House Rules Committee voted that one down. So we can't even have an investigation on this. The largest fraud scheme per pupil schooling, but just Minnesota, 5 million people, California, 50 million people. I mean, it's a dramatically different population base. And when you actually proportion it for the population, we have the largest fraud in the country. It's not particularly close, but it pales in California in the sense of the raw numbers, but by a ratio standpoint, Minnesota is just a different animal. And there's a reason it's been able to hide for so long. And it's because of these corrupt politicians and it's because of the corrupt media who's been able to hide behind this. And that's why it took me and Nick Sorter and Nick Shirley and Chris Rufo coming from the outside in to report on it to actually get it covered.
Yeah, part of the frustration I'm sure that you have in Minnesota is the fact that it isn't as large and, I don't know if this is an offense to Minnesota. I'd say the same thing about Illinois. It's not as sexy as California, so you don't get the eyes and the ears and the attention that California gets just for being California, that it actually becomes kind of a safe space for people like Ilhan Omar and Tim Walz and Keith Ellison and those, feckless Democrats in the legislature to be able to get away with some of this because people aren't going to pay attention to it in the Midwest. Talk to me specifically about what Ilhan Omar, what your allegation or expectation of what kind of participation or knowledge Ilhan Omar has had in the fraud that's been perpetuated in Minnesota? Do you think she knows it, understands it, and has been involved top to bottom? Or a little plausible deniability, might be aware that some of this has happened, but has kept far enough away from it so she feels safe?
I think there's no question she knows about it and deeply has known about it for a long time. And even when you go back to her days as just a simple state representative, the individuals who are basically responsible for her rise in politics are tied to a lot of this as well. Even the people that didn't like her, but they had also connections that lined them in. You just find out that like, oh, this connection doesn't like Ilhan, but they have a friend who loves Ilhan. And because if they go after her for immigration fraud, as an example, back in the U.S. Attorney's Office when it was run by a Democrat, and, you know, they're close political allies, then you find out, oh, then your friend's going to get buried if you bury her. And it's just all interconnected at this point. To the point that even like we look up at like a Jacob Frey, who's known as a little bit more moderate of a Democrat in this state. I know that's weird to say for the national people, but he's considered a moderate here by the Democrat standards.
Yeah.
He's looking to potentially be her replacement one day. And even his wife, it was a part of the law firm that defended the Feeding Our Future head gal, Amy Bach. So, like, the connections to every single faction of the Democrat Party here in Minnesota, it's unheard of. Everything is connected. Everyone knows about each other. And that's why they're able to just protect everything down to these moderate Democrats will go whisper to Republicans on the House and Senate floor in these tough districts. And they're like, man, this is crazy. But they won't do anything about it. They won't actually vote out of line with their party because they're there for a reason, because these other corrupt Democrats put them in those positions, and they know if they go against the party line, they're going to quickly lose their primary, or they're not going to get the funding properly to actually win their race. And then you just get this institution of absolute rot and corruption. Even some of the quote-unquote good Democrats, they have to fall in line as well.
Let me ask you this question. Dustin Grage speaking with us right now, Minnesota-based columnist for Town Hall, investigative journalist, has been at the forefront of a lot of what we've seen exposed in Minnesota. You know, Justice, we hope the country would love to watch Ilhan Omar get her comeuppance. Tim Walz as well. Minnesota's kind of had its day in the last few years of putting its worst on national display. I come from the state of J.B. Pritzker, so I feel your pain.
Well, you guys are next cycle, I believe.
Please, expose it all. Put it all out there. That's fine. Hang the dirty laundry out in the town square for people to see. But my question is, with the exposure of what you've been able to uncover and Nick Sorter and Nick Shirley and Christopher Rufo, like you've talked about, these people have been investing a lot of time and energy and research into exposing this. If you can't fix what has happened in the past, if justice doesn't look super public for all of us voyeurs to watch from afar, is Feeding Your Future going to continue to operate the way it has been? Are Minnesota tax dollars, national NGO dollars that are finding their way into Minnesota's fraud system? Is what all of this looks like going into the future, is it going to change the way these things operate? Can they still get away with it?
Oh, they're absolutely going to continue it. And I just got to laugh at Amy Klobuchar, who recently came out after 3.5 months since announcing her campaign, finally said the word fraud for the first time 3 days ago. I think it was on Sunday. She had a press conference. She went over her fraud prevention plan. But it's just really funny. We've had some pretty bad fraud problems in Minnesota, even in the past. And she used to be the Hennepin County prosecutor. And back then, one of her donors was involved in a massive fraud scheme. Tim Peters, I believe is his name. I might get that wrong. Maybe he was a donor within that organization, but there was a massive fraud scandal. She ended up skipping out on going on charges, and the feds had to go pick it up and go charge the guy. So, like, this whole assumption that, well, Amy Klobuchar is this moderate queen in Minnesota, and she's going to go just fix it. Tim Walz dropped out. Ilhan Omar, like, these other people that maybe not get along with other factions, the Democrats, like, no, they're just going to keep continuing it. They're going to keep protecting their donor bases, all these people that have built their success over the years. Tim Walz, he's been around for 20 years. Amy Klobuchar's been around for 30. In elected office in Minnesota. You can't just simply put these people back into these offices and expect a different result. You eventually just have to go the opposite direction if you want to see things turn around. And in particular here in Minnesota, you have to vote Republican.
Yeah.
You have to finally change it. And I do have a lot of hope for that. We had 2 elections last year that came within 1 percentage point for AG and state auditor. Right there up with the fraud. Those are the 2 main offices that actually oversee that. I would be surprised if we don't win one of those this time, and including governor, which oversees a lot of this. I have a lot of hope for those offices for Republicans this cycle.
Let me ask you a final question. We're speaking with Dustin Grage here, Minnesota-based columnist for Town Hall. Political analysis research, a must follow on X at Grage Dustin. You go to dustingrage.com as well. The vice president is leading this charge against fraud to go find it in any nook and cranny of this country and expose it. Do you feel as though this effort by the administration is going to be effective? Do you feel it's political? Maybe it's both. But the question is it going to expose the fraud?
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, to the question, like, yeah, it's going to be both. I mean, it's politically helpful for Republicans to actually expose the fraud because the Democrats are the ones committing it. And quite frankly, even if this fraud isn't a red state like Ohio, we do have a red governor there. I mean, it was Democrat for many years before that, too. We had Democrat officials running that state for a while. Fraud is fraud. And talk about the most independent issue you could possibly think of. I can't think of any voter who is okay with fraud.
Yeah.
I mean, if we're the ones that end up exposing this, regardless of party lines, that's going to be helpful for the midterms. It's going to be helpful for the country as a whole. And, just noted, a big noticer of things, Democrats predominantly are the ones actually in on the fraud. So, yeah, it's going to be very beneficial for our party. But, yeah, no, these efforts are clearly going places.
The national attention from the administration is going to help get the job done?
Yeah, it's absolutely getting the job done. And, I mean, just quite frankly, from what my individual sources within the, not just the national, but state DA offices, DOJ offices, yeah, they're very, very heavy on actually getting this done. They're willing to flip over every stone possible to get to the bottom of it. And yeah, it's going to be beneficial all around for everyone. But yeah, I don't hate that it's going to help Republicans either.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the crux of my question is I wanted to thrust Republicans across the finish line in the midterms and then again in 2028 and forever and for always. But what I don't want is some dog and pony show that's going around going fraud bad.
Exactly.
And then nothing gets exposed.
Yeah, we don't want failure theater. We actually want some results.
Yes,
yeah.
100%. And I'm happy to hear that you, being on the front lines of this, feel like there is some productivity to this effort. Dustin Grage, thank you. Thank you for being a brother in arms in Minnesota as I stand in Illinois and scratch my head and go, how is this okay? I appreciate your coverage always. Thanks for being with us today.
Thank you.
Take care. Bye-bye. Dustin Grage from Minnesota. I feel as though of all of the conversations that surround blue states and Democrat-controlled areas, that Minnesota feels the most relatable to the state of Illinois.
Yeah, I think that's probably right because it's Democrat-controlled. It's a little bit closer to even than we are. But yes.
It's Midwestern.
It's Midwest.
It's not looked at, if you think, it's kind of interesting to look at how many of the high-profile Democrats and Republicans still come out of California.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, that's where the attention is drawn to. You're Midwest, you just kind of do the Midwest thing. Midwest nice. And these Democrats who capture these states and these state legislatures and do what they're doing in Minnesota that's being exposed. You know that's happening in Illinois. You know that money is going through the laundry cycle all of the time to come in and benefit. Good grief. I don't even have time to talk about the teachers' unions and what they're doing to manipulate the actual policy and elections that we have with the money that goes in from teachers who really just want to have a good, safe, protected job. They care about their kids, and they pay the union. A lot of them are scared not to, and they participate because that's what you do. Because teachers, on the whole, in my opinion, are good, kind people who are not looking to rabble-rouse. They're just trying to get through. They're trying to help kids and move on. What teachers unions do, the way they funnel their money in and out, it's a scam. It's an absolute scam. And when I read Dustin's reporting or watch it and I see what's going on in Minnesota, I'm like, gosh, Illinois, come on. Come to Illinois. We want this. Expose it all.
There was one, well, there's quite a few, but there's one line that really stuck out to me that he said that sounded so much like Illinois. He said that Republicans and Democrats at the state house level will talk sometimes. And some Democrats will say in private to Republicans, I can't believe how much fraud there is.
Yeah.
Can't believe this is going on. But they won't do anything about it because they've been placed there by that corrupt system to do nothing.
Well, in Illinois, they don't even talk to each other.
Yeah.
It's so sick. Gosh. Republican people with power. Illinois would be super fun for the country to watch implode. I mean, you're watching it implode. Can we at least, expose some things on the way out, please? No way to transition to this. The YouTube poll for today, is the Star Wars franchise dead? We're talking about how the preachy entertainment phase might be on its way out and how you feel about Star Wars, particularly as a franchise. It's not dead because you love everything they've done. No, but they do need to write the spaceship. Yes, it's cooked, or you never cared about Star Wars. YouTube.com/@AnnieFrey. Just go to the YouTube app on your phone. Find our live broadcast in the live chat today. That's where that question is. You can vote. You can also text us your thoughts at 314-241-9797. Speaking of teachers, when we come back, Wiggins America, things teachers wish parents knew. Next on the Annie Frey Show. So if you haven't yet, call Matt Hayes at Home Shield Foundation Repair and have him come check out that basement, the water that you've experienced. We've had a few pretty significant rains so far this spring, and there are going to be more. Get ahead of that wet basement problem and get on the schedule with Home Shield Foundation Repair. When you call Matt Hayes at 314-271-9900, invite him over. He can look at your basement. He can assess what you're dealing with, and he can fix the problem. Of course, you want to get to know him. You want to understand how he's going to fix the problem. He will explain all of that. And if you do sign up to work with Home Shield Foundation Repair to get the basement waterproofed, you're going to get a lifetime warranty on the work that Home Shield Foundation Repair does. They back it up. They're wonderful at what they do. They have an incredibly tight-knit crew, people who want to stay and work for Home Shield Foundation Repair because they do the things the right way. Call them at 314-271-9900, 314-271-9900, and tell Matt that Annie sent you. Learn everything you need to know about foundation repair concerns at HomeshieldFoundationRepair.com.
The following is sponsored by Bid My Listing.
Looking for a great real estate agent? Someone who can help you sell your home fast and for top dollar? Go to Redy.com, REDY.com. Because on Redy, agents will pay you just for the opportunity to sell your home. Yeah, on Redy, agents will pay you for your listing. Thousands of dollars up front just for a chance to sell your home. And it's easy. Just go to Redy.com, enter your address, and when you want to sell. In just 48 hours, the best local agents are competing on Redy to be your agent with cash offers up front just to win your business. Hey, your listing is valuable. Don't give it away. Make those agents earn it. Get paid to pick your real estate agent. Go to Redy.com or call 888-270-REDY. 888-270-REDY.
Ronald Reagan once famously said, "Government is not the solution, government is the problem." When it comes to economic growth, government can be a roadblock. With red tape, regulations, and subsidies, government stifles entrepreneurship and also props up businesses that deserve to go under. Unlike government, free markets encourage risk-taking, freedom to succeed or fail. Governments shouldn't be picking winners and losers, the market should. Free markets benefit the business owner and the customer by encouraging competition. Free Market enabled a young man named J.C. Hall selling picture postcards in Kansas City to turn his idea into Hallmark cards. In St. Louis, the Free Market made it possible for Adolphus Busch to turn his father-in-law's local beer into the world's largest brewery. A free market also means you get to send your kids to the school of your choice. Learn more about free markets at showmeinstitute.org. The Show Me Minute has been brought to you by Show Me Institute and Show Me Opportunity.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting truly great candidates for your roles? It seems impossible to find them, but they have to be out there somewhere, right? Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go, and that place is ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter, you're missing out. So see what it's like when the impossible is easy. When you go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio right now to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
Hey, the Guns N' Hoses Soccer Cup is coming to Worldwide Technology Soccer Park on May 30th, and we're going to give away another pair of tickets to go to this event in the 2 o'clock hour, just a little after 2:30 is about when we usually do that. The prize is provided by Guns N' Hoses, so stick around for that. That is coming up at 2:30-ish, 12:50 right now. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
JerryKelly.com.
Built on backbone, not buzzwords. 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
I imagine the song being you in the mid-2000s.
You think that I was Lou Bega?
I think you thought you were.
I had the same clothes and mustache. If that's what you're asking.
I'm going to have to Google him now. I have no idea what this guy looked like.
Oh, he looks awesome.
I just think he looked like 1999, 2000 Brian Wiggins.
No, not Lou Bega. No, this man looks probably the exact same now, but old. I guess that could be
Wiggins
true
America?
of anything.
Okay.
Wiggins! Oh!
Wiggins! He has a nice mustache and a nice hat. And it looks like he's still touring.
Of course he is. He's probably playing every summer festival in America. You know what would be great? He's going to see him, and he doesn't play that song.
It's all like slow jazz.
Yeah. He's like, trying to branch off.
Guess how old he is right now?
60.
51.
Yeah. He was a lot older when he had the hit.
German singer.
Is he really?
I don't know. Google says.
Oh, I wouldn't have guessed that at all.
Anyway.
All right. These are things that teachers wish that parents knew. We have a unique perspective on this topic, all three of us in the room being married to teachers, so we can answer from both angles. I want to see whether you agree with these things. Number
answer
one.
for our spouses?
Yeah, you kind of can. I mean, you see the ramifications of a lot
My
of it.
advice to my spouse when people at work talk to him about me is to deny that he knows me. Just pretend I don't exist.
Don't do that here.
Just say you're a widower.
She's dead. Yes, I did know her, but
Yeah.
she's gone.
Yeah. Rest in peace. Rip.
I heard her on the radio yesterday. Oh, yeah, it happened real recent. Last night.
You should check the podcast.
I hope
Anyway.
that you're okay after today,
Yeah, I
because
know.
if that happens,
Yeah.
now that clip is going to be forever burned in everybody's memory.
Okay.
Respect teachers' boundaries. Apps and emails have made it easier than ever to communicate with teachers 24/7. Just because you can't or you can doesn't mean that you should communicate outside of normal hours.
Text messages for sure. Email, I disagree with that. You should be able to send an email anytime convenient for you, and the receiver of the email should be able to read it when it is convenient for them.
I agree with that.
Text message is different.
Yeah, that's true. There's a lot of teacher apps too that they kind of handle this stuff now. That you don't have to check them all the time. But kids, the hard part about it is that kids can turn in papers right up to midnight now sometimes, when it used to be, well, you have to turn it in class.
Yeah.
And now you can do it all the time. Teachers are people. They are always thinking and learning. Though their job is to teach, educators also prioritize learning and evolving. Why? Because they care deeply about your child.
What's the rule?
Just to remember that if they're not the expert in the topic, it's because they're trying to become the expert. They don't necessarily know everything, but they're trying. Next one is small, kind gestures add up.
Yeah.
Teacher burnout is real.
You should give your teacher $5 gift cards to Starbucks because he doesn't like it, but his wife does.
Well, my wife does like it.
My entire Starbucks haul in my app is just Starbucks gift cards because he loves coffee. He just doesn't. I think I say this in the most kind, respectful way to my husband, but he's too good for Starbucks.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
He only has like premium roast from Brazil.
No, he doesn't want to be seen carrying a Starbucks cup.
Oh.
It's like it's a cultural signal that he's not interested in. He's not going out of his way to not go to Starbucks. He's just not going to Starbucks.
Starbucks has changed their app too, and it drives me crazy. And their chai tea. It's not as good as it used to be. Driving me nuts. I got all this money in the app just sitting there going, well, I want chai, but I want the old chai. Yes, this one is controversial. They do have summer vacation. Teachers may work a summer job or engage in professional development, but yes, the rumors are true. They often take some time off in the summer.
The rumors are true. That's why people are teachers.
I have heard people
hate
criticize teachers, and I think this is a fair criticism to an extent, but it's probably also based on salary, that they get a good portion of the year off. And saying, look, if you're complaining about your salary, consider the fact that you get more time off than most people do.
Also, teachers are not the only profession. In fact, I would say there are not many careers where you don't have to take work home.
Mm-hmm.
You don't clock out of your job.
No, you don't.
And go home and it just ceases to exist until you clock back in.
Right. Yeah,
that is not unique to education.
I've never seen anybody work as hard as my wife because I don't have to do it.
What, work hard?
Work hard.
Yeah. Can confirm.
Here's another one. 2 words, sugar and sleep. If your child is struggling in the classroom or behaviorally, you might want to consider evaluating those 2 things first, says the article. Sugar intake and amount of sleep that they're getting.
Yeah, I'd say that's true. Kids need so much sleep.
Yes, they do. And it is tough. I think
Those are your problems, too.
Yeah, they kind of are. Well, I just need a lot more sleep than I'm getting. And sugar.
I don't think you read that correctly.
Oh, yes, I did. Mistakes are okay to call out. You may be surprised to learn that your child's behavior or academic performance in the classroom doesn't necessarily add up to what you think it is. So if the teacher is calling out something in the classroom, doesn't mean the teacher's always right, but it may be something that you want to not put up the defenses immediately and consider.
I always think it's interesting to know that kids can act out in school and mom and dad will be like, that's not the way my kids act. But the converse is also often true, where your kid is a sweet little child in the classroom and just a pain in the butt at home. My kids are sweet all of the time.
Don't kill the messenger. It says along the same lines, it's challenging to hear something critical about your child, but don't take it out on the teacher if the teacher is trying to bring it up and correct it in a healthy way, which usually they are.
Yeah. Yeah.
You go to a lot of parent-teacher conferences and stuff?
Nope, none.
I don't either. My wife does them all.
Why
she's
would
there.
I would just sit there and talk and screw things up.
Exactly.
I'd ask questions, and the teacher and my husband would simultaneously look at me like, what a dumb question. Just kidding. My husband would just think it. He wouldn't. I mean, we have divided and conquered parenting in many ways, and education is under Jared's parental duties, and bullying and behavioral concerns, if it's for our children or to our children, I would like a word. I will step in.
Last one on the list. Follow the chain of command. If your child is struggling, you don't have to go, especially if you have a relationship with the teacher at all, you don't have to go straight to the top.
No, go to the teacher first.
Bring your issue to the teacher first before you take your concern up the chain of command.
Yeah, I say that as the wife of a teacher. Definitely been on the end of some people who were like trying to manipulate some things, and they're, you've got a friend on the school board, so you just talk to them. Nope.
Mm-hmm.
That's
It's
not the
easy
way
to
to
do, but
Are you trying to actually solve a problem for your kid?
Right.
The teacher is the one who can solve it the fastest if you treat them with respect and have a conversation. If you actually care about people in a human capacity. That's all I have to say about that. It's a good thing it's a hard break.
and Lou Bega's going to take us out.
When we come back, we're going to speak with Deroy Murdock and Zach Dean, writer for Outkick, on why Star Wars has tanked. Go vote in the poll. We'll be right back.
President Trump says Iran wants to negotiate. Lisa Brady, Fox News.
We're in I call it a skirmish because that's what it is. It's a skirmish. And we're doing unbelievably well.
The president suggesting again that a deal may be within reach as Iran reviews a multi-point proposal from the U.S. The White House has not confirmed what's in it. President Trump reiterating a warning that if there's no deal, the U.S. will go back to bombing Iran. In the meantime, he has suspended Project Freedom, a U.S. effort to help guide stranded commercial ships through the Strait of Hormuz. But a U.S. blockade of Iranian ports continues, and we're just getting word the U.S. military fired on an Iranian-flagged oil tanker in the Gulf of Oman, saying it tried to breach the blockade. Also just getting word Israeli forces have hit Beirut suburbs for the first time since a ceasefire between Israel and Lebanon, targeting an Iran-backed Hezbollah commander. The president was speaking at the start of a White House event honoring military moms.
At the very heart of America's strength lies the boundless love and quiet power of mothers.
First Lady Melania Trump says mothers help build the soul of our nation, and also that the president remembers every American soldier is someone's child. She says his empathy transcends his role as commander-in-chief. The ship at the center of a deadly outbreak is on the move.
3 ill passengers on board the Dutch-flagged MV Hondius have been evacuated to Holland as the ship, hit by the deadly hantavirus, makes its way to Spain's Canary Islands, where all remaining passengers will be evacuated to their home countries.
Fox's Greg Palcott. 3 people have died. Testing confirming a strain of the virus that can spread human to human instead of just through rodent droppings. Health officials in Europe and Africa trying to identify people who may have had contact with those who left the ship earlier. America is listening to Fox News.
I move mountains for a living. Literally. That means I don't carry hand lotion, and when it comes to serious heartburn, I don't mess around with anything but Rolaids. Rolaids' dual-active formula has calcium carbonate and magnesium hydroxide that relieves heartburn fast. Yeah, you heard right. 2 actives for that powerful relief. And the best part? The roll fits right here in my pocket, so I can get back to moving mountains.
Rolade spells powerful relief. Read each label. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
You're great at protecting your data, but lots of places could still expose you to identity theft.
I thought it was safe.
If that happens, LifeLock gives you a US-based restoration agent who will stick by your side from start to finish. Phone calls, filing documentation, preparing insurance claims, your agent handles it all. In fact, we're so confident restoration is guaranteed or your money back. Isn't it nice to have someone like that on your side? Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS at LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
This is the Annie Frey Show on 97.1 FM Talk.
So what they're doing, I mean, this is fraud. This is just exactly what fraudsters do. I'm going to fix the problem. I will fix the problem. But because there isn't enough racism in the United States, because conservatives and Republicans don't believe that way, they had to fabricate their own racism so that they can turn around, raise money on it, ostensibly to fight it. That's why this is such a huge fraud case. It isn't just about that they're saying, that it's the fraud is that they're creating the very problem that they're claiming to solve. They're the ones creating the racism. They're the ones funding the KKK. They're the ones funding the Unite the Right rally. They're the ones that are funding these so-called radicals, but it's all SPLC.
So you have Congresswoman Hageman there from Wyoming talking about, she said there's not enough racism to fund what the Southern Poverty Law Center is trying to do in this country, that they have to stoke it. They have to manifest it. Why? So they can knock it down. It's not really about racism, is it? I think it's possible that it might just be about power and money. Let's talk to our friend Deroy Murdock about it, nationally syndicated columnist, Project 21 ambassador, and of course a Fox News contributor as well. Deroy, welcome back. Happy Wednesday to you.
Great to talk to you again, Annie.
So the Southern Poverty Law Center thing, there's so many different headlines popping right now in the news that I think that the story is being under-discussed. And I'm very interested in you as somebody who is a Black conservative man who's covering the news. When you see that the Southern Poverty Law Center is pouring money into places like the KKK and stoking the hate that they tried to manifest at Charlottesville, I'm banging my head into the wall. I can't imagine what it's like for you to watch all of this come out with this latest indictment.
I guess that explains why my forehead's bleeding from banging into the wall.
Oh, no. Get you an ice pack.
Yeah, ice pack, exactly. Yeah, this story broke, I guess, a couple weeks ago, and it was kind of a big story, and then it was completely knocked off the headlines by the third assassination attempt on President Trump, unfortunately. So people have not been talking about this story quite so much, but it's still in the news, and I'm sure it will percolate back up as people are brought in and as the prosecution continues. But yeah, this is an absolutely astonishing story, and I heard about this. I thought, you've got to be kidding. This is like something out of an SNL sketch or something like this. You've got the Southern Poverty Law Center, which is kind of the Vatican of anti-racism in this country, and they've been fighting the KKK and the neo-Nazis and so forth for years and years. And now it turns out they're subsidizing those guys, that they're basically providing money to informants and other people in these hate organizations in order for them to go out and do hateful things. And the Southern Poverty Law Center can go out and say, oh, my God, look at that hatred, look at the racism, look at the bias, et cetera. Please give us money so we can go fight these people. This is kind of like the American Lung Association secretly handing out cigarettes on street corners so that people can come in with lung cancer. The American Lung Cancer Society can come in and say, oh, my God, please give us money to help us fight lung cancer, when, in fact, it turns out they're the ones promoting the lung cancer by handing out, unfiltered Camels and Marlboros. I mean, you just cannot – not only can you not make this up, you can't even hallucinate. I mean, if you give me a lot of drugs to come up with some crazy scenario, I would not have come up with this one. And the kind of money that they're giving people is just astonishing. Like, for example, there's one person who's involved in the Unite the Right Hate Fest, which took place in Charlottesville, Virginia, back in August of 2017. This is the big sort of neo-Nazi and Klan gathering that took place in Virginia, and unfortunately this poor woman named Heather Heyer, she was one of the people out there protesting against the KKK and the neo-Nazis, and a white nationalist by the name of James Alex Field hopped in his car, plowed his Dodge Challenger into a crowd of these people and killed her. She was fatally hit and was dead at age 32. James Alex Field is, I think, in prison for life, if I'm not mistaken. Anyway, one of the people involved in this was a secretly paid informant for the Southern Poverty Law Center, who was involved in this, who helped arrange transportation for people to show up at this event, and they paid him $270,000, over $250,000, this guy. There's somebody else who was these people all go by code names for the field sources or the informants. Another is named F9, as in Foxtrot 9, involved in the neo-Nazi organization called the National Alliance. SPLC secretly paid him more than $1 million. You've got another guy who's part of a group called the National Alliance. He's the former chairman, I believe, $140,000. Then you've got my favorite. It's not a ton of money, but the fact this guy got any money is amazing. A group called American Front, which is a Jew-hating skinhead organization. And this guy was convicted in federal court of cross burning. So this is a guy who actually literally burns crosses. He got $19,000 from the Southern Poverty Law Center. Again, you cannot invent this kind of thing.
You know, I'm thinking about what Congresswoman Hageman said there. She said there's not enough racism that exists on its own. This is what the Southern Poverty Law Center has to invest in. We've gone through, I think the last time we talked, I said maybe this kind of really ramped up during the Obama campaign for presidency. And of course, when he won, he talked about hope and change and fundamental transformation of the United States of America. But race was brought to the forefront. I feel as though the highlights of our country as a whole was where we are different. And then we divided people so we could prioritize people. And we had to make sure that the whole process was really to make sure that white people found themselves on the bottom. Instead of just thinking that we're all this like equal, this equal platform where we all stand and then we can, move forward based on the efforts and the abilities that we have. I don't disagree with Congresswoman Hageman when I hear her say there wasn't enough racism. She's not saying there wasn't any. It still exists. What's your assessment right now in 2026 of how much racism exists in our country?
Well, I think the headline of my piece actually points to that very question, or answers that question you're asking. This is in the Daily Signal, and the headline is Southern Poverty Law Center Outrage Offers a Silver Lining. And I think the silver lining here is that the Southern Poverty Law Center, which is based, I believe it's in Montgomery, Alabama, if this country were so deeply bigoted and so completely marinated in racism, it should be very easy for the Southern Poverty Law Center to walk out the door, go across the street around the corner, and find some Klansmen or some neo-Nazis and go fight them and put them out of business or what have you. In fact, racism has become not absent, not completely eliminated, but has become such a, shall we say, a manageable or a minimal influence in this country that they actually have to go and find people and pay them to be racist. Now, that's an awful, terrible thing that they've done, or at least they're accused of having done as part of this massive fraud conspiracy by the Department of Justice, but that they had to go allegedly go these lengths says to me that we really have, if we haven't fully overcome racism, we've overcome to the degree that the Southern Poverty Law Center sees this as a sufficiently rare phenomenon that they need to go out and subsidize it. That's a horrible thing, but in a certain sense, it's a good thing if the Southern Poverty Law Center thinks, there's not enough racism to keep us in business, so we got to go and cook. We got to go concoct some. We got to go cook some up so we can stay relevant and keep our phony baloney jobs, as Governor Lepetomane said in Blazing Saddles. I rather that the SPLC didn't do this, but the fact that they go to these lengths says to me, maybe this racism problem they scream about is not as big a deal as they say it is. If they need to go out and actually hand people between $2 and $3 million, by the way, over the last, I think, about 2013 to about 2019, I think it was, to engage in this scheme to keep the racism pots sufficiently stirred so they can go out and say that they ought to remain in business.
Deroy Murdock speaking with us right now, Fox News contributor, Project 21 ambassador, nationally syndicated columnist as well. It's like a piece currently in the Daily Signal, as he just mentioned. What is your advice? I mean, you have to have been thoughtful about this. If there's some sort of Deroy Murdock American utopia for the 250th birthday wish for Deroy, how do we go about moving forward, coming out of kind of shedding the skin, so to speak, of this forced upon, hyper racially sensitive world that we've lived in for the last 20 years? Because I mean, it's not like we shouldn't see color. We can understand that people are walking different lives and experiencing different things, but it should make us stronger, and it certainly hasn't been.
Well, I think we were making real progress before Obama became president. I mean, I don't think we had not gotten completely past racism, but you saw lots of people getting along around the country. You saw lots of interracial couples. You saw a lot of kids of mixed background. I mean, what could be greater integration than people marrying across racial lines, having children of mixed background? I mean, that's about as equal opportunity as it gets. And then once Obama came in, we started saying, okay, well, you're on this side, I'm on the other. Let's divide this. And, it's systemic racism and critical race theory and all this other nonsense. I think the best thing to do is get beyond that. I don't use the term racial color blindness. I think it's really asking too much for people to look at each other, not notice, oh, this person's black, this person's white, this person's Hispanic, this person's of Asian background. I don't really expect people basically cover their eyes and not see anything,
Mhm.
but to make it so it's no different than saying, oh, that person's left-handed or right-handed, or that person happens to be 5'10" versus somebody who's 5'8" versus someone who's 6 feet tall. We'll notice the differences in height, and it's not a big difference unless you're hiring people to be basketball players, in which case, yeah, it does kind of make a difference how tall you are. So really, we need to get beyond this and go back to where I think we were, about 20 years ago, where we would be aware of people's racial backgrounds, but we wouldn't care about it all that very much. We'll go about our business, and we hire these people, we work with these people, we're friends with these people. In some cases, we marry and have children with these people. And if we can get back to where we were before, where the way we dealt with our racial differences, frankly, I think is we laughed about them. I mentioned Blazing Saddles. You had All in the Family. You had Sanford and Son. We had various comedy programs and so on where we'd make fun of people's racial backgrounds and laugh about it. And if you're laughing about your differences rather than sitting there and walking in eggshells and treating everything like, your racial background as some kind of a, religious experience or something that can't even be discussed because it's so sacred, if we just laugh about these things and, yeah, okay, you're different, and this part of your background's funny, haha, and you laugh at me, I laugh at you, and we somehow get along that way. I think we go back to where we were there and try to live that kind of those kinds of lives. I think we'd be a much, much happier society than where we are now, which is, as I say, everybody being, just so tense about this kind of thing.
Okay, last question for you, Deroy, and this is an interesting one. You can just totally take this pitch and not even answer it, but I really want to ask you it. I want to understand, I think, maybe I don't, about why the people fighting the hardest and that are the most upset about racial disparities and marginalized communities and everything, why is it the retired white women that are doing this? Deroy, do you know the answer?
I don't know the answer for that, but I do think you see that a lot of that sort of thing is the older, angry white women. I guess I think JD fans call them the cat ladies, if I'm not mistaken.
We call them the meemaws.
The meemaws?
Yeah, the retired ladies with pensions is what my producer called them.
That's very funny. I don't know. Maybe they have a lot of free time and they have nothing else to do. Maybe they feel they can't just have some fun hobby like I don't know, it could be playing
gardening,
Scrabble, or gardening, or it could be playing tennis or whatever, vacationing, just pickleball, photography. Maybe they feel they need to do something quote socially relevant, quote unquote. And maybe as women maybe are a little bit more leaning left than leaning right on balance. Perhaps that's the case. So I can't really tell what it is, but it is interesting. I've noticed that phenomenon. I don't have any real explanation for it.
There really seems
like to see a lot less of it.
There seems to me to be some sort of like permissive hierarchy that white women, college-educated white women, a lot of times they're single, that are older. There seems to be like this permissive hierarchy that they're accepting about themselves over other people that they then kind of utilize in a public display of like self-flagellation. I don't understand it. It doesn't make sense to me. And I'm 42. I got 4 kids. My youngest is 4 years old. So I still feel very tethered to the young people, even though I have a 16-year-old boy in high school. But I'm just trying to avoid whatever makes people take that turn down the road into their 60s and 70s. I don't want to take that turn. I want to look right past it, speeding past that turn.
I think you want to avoid that turn for sure. And I think one thing that I find really annoying is where you'll find some liberal white person who is insulted on behalf of some person of some ethnic background who's not bothered by anything. Like you saw this with a lot of these Indian names for high school teams, college teams, et cetera. And you've got white liberals saying, "Oh my God, we're so offended," and then they ask people who are Cherokee or Navajo background, whatever, what do you think? I go, I don't care. It's pretty cool. You've got that warrior up there. It's kind of proud of that, and yet the nervous white people get bothered by this sort of thing. I remember a few years ago
the NWPs. I'm writing that down. The nervous white people.
Nervous white people. Yep. There was I think it was maybe Turner Classic Movies on the day that Ted Turner passed away. By the way, and they were showing had a Bugs Bunny marathon. They ran almost every single solitary Bugs Bunny cartoon, because I think Ted Turner at some point took ownership of those, if I'm not mistaken. And but they didn't show one where Bugs Bunny was chasing around this rabbit happening to be black, and the black rabbit goes down a rabbit hole, and in order to get the black rabbit out of the rabbit hole, Bugs Bunny takes a little, like a cup with a couple of dice, and shakes the dice over the rabbit hole. The black rabbit figures there's a gambling going on, and so he emerges from the black from the rabbit hole, and I guess Bugs Bunny knocks him over the head with a stick or something like this. Anyway, the people at I guess it was Turner Classic Movies or whatever didn't include that one because they thought black people might be insulted by that. Now, the only more insulting than that is white people thinking black people are going to be insulted by
the blacks are going to be bothered by this.
Yeah,
yeah.
I don't find the black rabbit offensive. I find offensive the white people who think that I'd be offended by the black rabbit in the cartoon. So maybe we should have a new rule, which is only people of a certain background can be insulted by whatever that insult is supposed to be hurled at those people. If it doesn't bother them, it shouldn't bother anybody else.
Nervous white people. I love that, Deroy. Thank you. Have a great week. Thanks for being with us this afternoon.
Okay, Annie. Thanks a lot.
Take care. Bye-bye. I mean, he's so spot on. He's absolutely spot on. I mean, there are things that I have seen in the last 15, 20 years that have been retired and gone away, and because they had racist connotations, and I'm like, I can kind of see that. Is society going to be to a detriment because said thing goes away? Then you answer the question and you move on. And if that cartoon that Deroy was just talking about, and for folks listening on the radio who don't know, Deroy Murdock is a black man. When he's talking about this and saying like, wow, you think that the enticement of gambling is going to be offensive to black people? If there were an awakening of people who were saying this is really insensitive, we'd like it to go away, I don't think there's anything wrong with saying we're going to put that one on the shelf and we're not going to disperse this one in our entertainment. I don't need to police those things for people, but there is a contingent of nervous white people out there who feel as though it's their sovereign duty to deracialize everything everywhere, and in doing so, oftentimes their behaviors are racist, as pointed out by Deroy Murdock. Let's break. Let's see, in about 8 minutes from right now, we're going to speak with Zach Dean. He's a writer for Outkick. He's also the host of Monday Morning Pit Stop on Outkick.com. Zach Dean wrote a piece. I'm really interested. I might need a little help from the boys for this one. The headline, it's on FoxNews.com. New streaming data paints shockingly grim picture for Disney's awful Star Wars sequels. Now, if you're listening right now, if you're from the 70s and you were there when Star Wars hit the scene to begin with, chances are it affected you in one way or the other. Maybe you have an affinity for it. What have they done and why did they do it? Zach Dean will talk to us at 1:30 about that. A few more of your comments from the Annie Frey Show text line on today's YouTube poll question. Is the Star Wars franchise dead? No, it's not dead and you love everything about it. No, but they do need to write the spaceship. Yes, it's cooked or you never cared about Star Wars. Let us know what you think on the YouTube poll. Go vote and send us your text message reaction at 314-241-9797. Air Comfort Service is waiting for your phone call at 314-513-0091. When the HVAC system stops working the way it should, get it repaired right away before it ends up costing you a lot more. A few years ago, we had to replace our furnace, and no, we were not maintaining it the way we should. It was 20 years old, so maybe it was going to be kaput anyway. But we reached out to Air Comfort Service. They came out with emergency service and got us back in our comfort zone with a great opportunity to put in a new furnace in our home, eventually a new air conditioner, water heater, all with Air Comfort Service. I am a customer of theirs, and I encourage you to give them the opportunity to earn your business as well. They have 24/7 emergency service. When you call 314-513-0091, 314-513-0091, you can reach out to them. They will come and help with your HVAC system, your water heater. They can service that as well. They are my go-to. I encourage you to make them yours as well. 314-513-0091, aircomfortservice.com.
This is Congressman Bob Onder. Americans demanded border security, and House Republicans delivered. According to the Department of Homeland Security, for 10 consecutive months, U.S. Customs and Border Protection has reported 0 illegal aliens released at the border. I'm proud to have worked with the Trump administration to secure our southern border and uphold our immigration laws, and will keep fighting to advance strong policies that protect Missourians and keep America safe.
Paid for by official funds authorized by the House of Representatives.
Van Musial. He missed a season in his prime to serve his country in the Navy.
Honor a legend on Saturday, May 16th when the Cardinals face the Kansas City Royals. Fans can secure a Stan Musial military bobblehead presented by Coca-Cola and Deerbirds. This patriotic collectible celebrates Stan's Hall of Fame career and his service to our country. A true symbol of character on and off the field. A tribute worth displaying and remembering. Don't miss it. Get tickets and details at cardinals.com/promotions.
Some Sundays are made for the water. Sunday, May 17th, as the Cardinals take on the Kansas City Royals, make it a ballpark day too. That day, you can score a Cardinals boat tote presented by Coca-Cola and Walmart. A classic summer bag that fits right in from the dock to the dugout. It's ready for long weekends, sunny afternoons, and whatever plans you have next. Get tickets now at cardinals.com/promotions.
Men. Need a clinic that accepts all insurance, including Medicare? U.S. Men's Medical Center in St. Peter's does. U.S. Men's helps men experiencing loss of energy, focus, concentration, and low libido. And they accept all insurance, even Medicare, for testosterone replacement therapy. Patients love the staff and the fact that, yes, I'm going to say it again, they accept all insurance, including Medicare. Feel better? Call U.S. Men's Medical Center at 636-244-5333.
Don't let tax refund worries hold you back. File now with TurboTax on Intuit Credit Karma. They'll find every credit and deduction to help you get every refund dollar you deserve, or your money back. Start filing today in the Credit Karma app.
This is the Annie Frey Show on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. Oh, is the Star Wars franchise dead? We're talking about how preaching in entertainment has killed the entertaining portion of the entertainment. And we're asking you how you feel about it. Specific to Star Wars, but the conversation is broader than that. Yes, there's an option for you to tell us that you never cared about Star Wars. Please go to the YouTube channel right now on our live broadcast and vote. The poll is located in the chat portion of today's live YouTube broadcast. And a reminder, if you subscribe and you turn on the notifications, whenever we go live every day, you can get that notification. You can go vote in the poll, and then you can go about your day or whatever. Stream us on the Odyssey app. Some text message feedback at 314-241-9797 on this poll question. And we have Zach Dean coming up in less than 5 minutes. He's a writer for Outkick, and he has a piece on foxnews.com that says new streaming data paints shockingly grim picture for Disney's awful Star Wars sequels. What's on the text line right now, Ryan?
These are other franchises that people have mentioned that, because I think we kind of hit on this a little bit in the first hour. Other franchises that either have maintained, have been really good, made a lot of money, or they have dropped off. The first one was Indiana Jones.
Gosh, the one that they did, what would it be, 10 or 15 years ago that ended up with aliens? I was so mad.
That was with Shia LaBeouf.
The Crystal Skull.
I was pumped to see that.
Everybody was.
And I went to see it, and I was mad. Same thing with Independence Day Resurgence.
I never saw that one.
Oh, that's the worst movie
bad?
I've ever seen.
I kind of want to watch it now.
I was so mad.
Indiana Jones, that fourth one I thought was bad, but I also think Shia LaBeouf got a bad rap. I thought he was actually pretty good in that movie.
The fifth one was worse.
The fifth one was.
The Dial of
it was
Destiny.
just kind of
Shame on you for even seeing the fifth one after the fourth one being so bad.
It was there. I'm going to watch it. It's still Harrison Ford.
Well, they're not going to make good ones if you go watch all the bad ones.
I haven't watched it.
I didn't go.
I just know it's bad.
You just know it's bad. I
you go.
didn't go to the theater. Okay, so lay off a little bit because I just watched it on streaming.
Lay off a little bit. Okay.
I mean, I deserve a little bit of criticism for watching it because I paid for streaming. But the other one was the Harry Potter series.
Wait. Like the original ones or the ones that came after that?
Well,
You guys
I
know
guess,
I'm a huge Harry Potter fan as of like 2 years ago.
Define what you mean, because the original ones were all the same cast, and you're talking about the ones that are coming out now.
Well, there's a lot of, I can't even remember what the titles of them all are, but there's a lot more Harry Potter content out there than the original J.K. Rowling series of books that she put out. And I didn't watch them. I mean, when the first one came out in 2001, there was a lot of like, maybe you shouldn't watch this. It's witchcraft and blah, 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 blah. I've completely changed. If you have not watched the Harry Potter series because of those initial reactions to it, knock that off and go watch these things. I mean, even if you're a Christian, there is so much Christ-like symbolism, if you want there to be, in the course of these movies. They're so great. And I am saying this as someone who literally watched them for the first time in the last 2 years.
We watched them all in my household. I had to tell my kids, though, before we start watching this, you have to understand that you don't want to necessarily dabble in being British.
Yeah. It's the fourth time you've made that joke.
I love
it. It's your favorite
joke. It's my favorite joke. I wrote it about 10 years ago, and anytime that I get a chance, I'm going to use it.
Yes.
You wrote it.
And he wrote that down. You know he did.
I did. It's in my book.
That's what's...
Yes. You go to it, and we should give away like 10,000 of your dollars the next time that you make that joke on the show.
How about this? We'll just give away a few books. They're called The Grocery List.
You're doing a promo for your book.
Hang on. It's a super funny book if you ever stumble across it. Hunger Games is another franchise that somebody mentioned. Hunger Games
Didn't
series
really watch those.
was very good, and it still remains good. They didn't say that it dropped off.
I do want to know from Harry Potter people if they're talking about after the original series. Because I'd like to watch those movies, but I haven't because I hold dear the original series and I don't want to taint it with, it went too far and I participated.
I don't even know what series you're talking about. I have to find this out because I just knew the original movies. I didn't know there was more.
There are people who know. Somebody will comment it here on the YouTube chat. We'll bring it up. When we return, we're going to speak with Zach Dean. He's a writer for Outkick, and he wrote this story that's really putting numbers, statistics to how much people are like passing hard on Star Wars sequels. Why might that be? Did they kill the franchise? Is it unrecoverable? Your feedback at 314-241-9797 in the text line, and go vote. Tell us how you feel about Star Wars on the live chat poll. We'll be right back with Zach Dean. During this whole live week. All right, we are celebrating the Funny Bone once again, and I cannot encourage you enough. Today we're talking about, remember when we were entertained? Remember when entertainment was entertaining? Well, we have live entertainment right here in St. Louis, Westport, and the streets of St. Charles, May 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th. I'm going to tell you about two acts that are performing. 2 nights at the Westport Funny Bone and then 2 nights at the streets of St. Charles. So I'm going to tell you to go to St. Louis, stlouisfunnybone.com, stlouisfunnybone.com to find out the dates that work for you. But guys, Kevin Farley is coming back. He's going to be in studio with us on Friday. Kevin Farley is Chris Farley's brother, but he has done so much more than, just be somebody's siblings. He's incredibly funny. He's very, very positive in his stand-up brand. So if you're looking for a great time, if you're looking for something to do this weekend and just laugh, let's get back to that. You need to go to stlouisfunnybone.com to get tickets to see on May 7th and 8th at Westport, Kevin Farley. On May 9th and 10th at Westport, Mary Mack. And they're going to inverse those 2 dates. So 4 dates total for you to see Kevin Farley and Mary Mack. If you want to go to Westport or Streets of St. Charles, go to stlouisfunnybone.com to get your tickets, to find out the dates that work for you, and entertain yourself. They're great acts, and you're absolutely going to love the opportunity to see a stand-up show. stlouisfunnybone.com.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ziprecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
ZipRecruiter. When's the last time you gave your home's exterior a little love? Hi, it's Kim, and if your siding is cracking, it's fading, or just doesn't stand up to our St. Louis weather, it's time to call Lakeside Renovation and Design because they're experts in James Hardy siding, which is this durable, low-maintenance option, and it looks beautiful. Plus, you have customizable colors and textures, and so you can give your home a completely new look while protecting it for decades. Don't wait until the small problems turn into big ones. Visit lakesidearty.com to schedule your free consultation.
This station is now conducting a test of the emergency alert system. This is only a test.
If you're the victim of a car accident or suffered a work injury in St. Louis, you want attorneys who live here and work here to handle your case. You want someone who knows St. Louis and is about St. Louis. You want Kaufman Townsley. Call 314-777-7777.
The YouTube live chat poll today, is the Star Wars franchise dead? No, I love it all. No, but they need to write the spaceship. Yes, it's cooked. Never cared about Star Wars. Which one's going to win? That is determined by you. We'll give you the results at the end of the show. It is 1:35. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
From Fenton to Fairview. 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
I said to Ryan, I said, Jedis don't give up. I mean, even if he had a problem, he would maybe take a year to try and regroup. But if he made a mistake, he would try and right that wrong. So right there, we had a fundamental difference. But it's not my story anymore. It's somebody else's story. And Ryan needed me to be a certain way to make the ending effective. That's the crux of my problem. Luke would never say that. I'm sorry. Well, in this version, see, I'm talking about the George Lucas Star Wars. This is the next generation of Star Wars. So I almost had to think of Luke as another character. Maybe he's Jake Skywalker. He's not my Luke Skywalker, but I had to do what Ryan wanted me to do because it serves the story well. But listen, I still haven't accepted it completely, but it's only a movie. I hope people like it. I hope they don't get upset. And I came to really believe that Ryan was the exact man that they needed for this job.
There you have Luke Skywalker, Mark Hamill himself, talking about a disagreement that he had as to how Luke Skywalker was being written in The Last Jedi. And we bring this up to you because, we're trying to emphasize the idea that we should get back to the idea of being entertained, of embracing entertainment that is there to entertain you, not to preach to you. And I think there's nothing more telling than the fandom of Star Wars and how they've ebbed and flowed on what they've appreciated. And because of that, Zach Dean, who wrote a piece with Outkick on FoxNews.com, new streaming data paints shockingly grim picture for Disney's awful Star Wars sequel. Zach Dean joins us right now. Zach, thanks for being with us here on the Annie Frey Show today. It's great to have you with us.
Thanks, Annie. Appreciate it. Always good to talk Star Wars anytime.
So I'm going to just be honest with you. My dad, he, was in high school, college in the 70s. We grew up knowing that there was like something special about Star Wars. But there's a whole nother generation that's come through that's my age. I'm not like super into Star Wars, but I'm not mad at it. I just like a really good story. And it's interesting, and this is part of what you write about in this article on Fox News, about how Disney took on the Star Wars franchise, and it's the Disney streaming numbers that are proving they have not hit the ball out of the park with this one so far.
They haven't, and it's odd. I was the same way. I grew up, and I was a kid in the 90s, and so I was at the tail end of the original Star Wars, and I was really grew up in the prequel era, mid 2000s, stuff like that. And those were really hated back in the day. I can remember that. And I
Yes.
loved them, but they were hated. And it was about 10 years between people hating the prequels, and then about 10 years later, they kind of became this cult classics. Like people turned a corner and loved them. Then Disney took over after about 10 years of nothing for Star Wars, and the hype started to come back, and people were really excited that we were going to kind of continue the Skywalker saga. And after the first one, which was okay, the last two were such unbelievable flops. Maybe not so much box office wise, because it's still Star Wars and people are still going to go see it. But the vitriol and the hate and almost just the people acting like they never even happened after the fact was shocking. And even for me now, like I sort of judge Star Wars. Like if I'm flipping the channel and I see Star Wars on FX or whatever, am I going to stop there and watch it? Well, if it's any of the first six, I always will stop and watch it. But if it's 7, 8, or 9, there is no shot that I'm clicking on it. And I think that's how a lot of people are right now.
Zach Dean speaking with us, a writer for Outkick, with his piece on foxnews.com right now about the streaming numbers on Disney Plus's Star Wars sequels. My son is 16, and he's grown up with The Mandalorian and, Baby Yoda. What's Baby Yoda's name is Grogu. I know this. I know these
child.
things. Okay, I'm sorry. I want to like it for him. I want to be able to sit down and watch these stories. Now, I spend a lot of my time in news talk and observing the tentacles that kind of get into the entertainment industry that might sway it one way or the other. Is there like social culture that has seeped its way into the manufacturing of these movies and these stories that's gotten them away from the idea of just telling a great story? Has it gotten preachy?
Oh, absolutely. That's Disney's biggest problem with anything. I mean, that's sort of been the case with Disney for a decade now. It's just that's sort of, and it's not just Disney, it's Hollywood in general. But they really, and again, not so much in the first of the sequels, The Force Awakens. That one was more of a shout out to the fans, nostalgia. They brought all the original characters back. They even admitted so much. The last two, and especially the second one, which Mark Hamill was just talking about, that's where for me at least, Star Wars really went off the rails, because they had Finn, who's played by John Boyega, I think that's how you pronounce his last name, and he was the Black Stormtrooper, and that was a big deal. And then he came out afterwards and was upset at Disney because he said that they didn't handle the first Black Stormtrooper in a correct way. And I was like, what are we doing here? Like, this is Star Wars. Like, I don't care if the Stormtrooper's black, white, or purple, or an alien. Like, was he written well or not? That's the issue. But of course, Disney wants to go all these different cultural directions. And and again, Star Wars, these sequels were made during a really, really tense time in this country, as far as, I think woke's kind of overused. I use exhausting. Just an exhausting
Preachy.
time period as far, yes. And that's when those were made. And that's sort of what you can really see happen in Last Jedi, and then Rise of Skywalker was a disaster. But, listening to Mark Hamill there, and he's crazy, but
I know
if you've lost Mark Hamill, who is a lunatic, then you've really lost the plot.
I love that. Yeah, they're the Kamala Harris Venn diagram of things that I understand about news, politics, and Star Wars. We are intersecting. We're right there, vibing in the middle. Is it recoverable? Because I asked this question I've got Ryan and Brad in here, and Ryan's big into Star Trek, but I think Ryan, you like Star Wars as well, correct?
Enough.
And Brad's big into Star Wars. Do you like Star Trek enough? Okay. We'll fight about it later. These are both things that they said. Both of these storylines have kind of been hijacked for the purpose of forcing something like, okay, we've won our audience, and now you're going to sit down and listen to what we have to say, which is not how you treat a fandom. But they both desperately would love to see it come back to what it was. Like, you could forgive all of the wrongs that have happened because the fandom is so strong that they're so thirsty for it to get right. Do you feel like, is there anything on the horizon that makes you think, you know what, maybe they could get this one right?
I don't know about on the horizon. Now they can look at those stream. I always say, go back to the data. What does the data tell you? Well, the data from those Nielsen numbers tells you that, yes, there is still a major thirst for Star Wars. Like, it was, It's I don't know for sure. I believe that it's the most streamed thing on Disney Plus. You look at the numbers, the minutes watched, and all the streams that it did last May 4th and last beginning of this year. People still want Star Wars. I don't think that's the issue. I think they've got to look at it. Okay, what was the highest streamed thing there? Andor. That was the two season spinoff, kind of leading into the originals. That is highly praised, universal praise with that one. What did that one do right? Really good storytelling, number one, good acting. It kind of made it kind of a political thriller, which I think people enjoy. And I think Star Wars, again, I go back to the prequels. People hated the prequels, but their biggest complaint when the prequels came out was, this is becoming too much of a political drama. Well, that's why people loved Andor. Is it salvageable? Yes. I've read rumors recently that they are in such, Lucasfilms and Disney are thinking about sort of, I don't want to say ignoring the sequels, but trying to cast them aside and create this universe where they kind of don't exist, and they try to hit the reset button.
People would pay for it.
Maybe that's their best way forward.
Yeah, people would still pay for it. Ryan, you wanted to?
Hey, Zach, this is Ryan, the one in the room that is not as big of a Star Wars fan as Brad is in here. But I do like some series. I really have liked with my family The Mandalorian. And that one seems to be the shining star among the newer stuff. And then we got this movie coming out. I just wondered, kind of as a fan, if you had heard anything that is it heading in that direction? Is there going to be any sort of messaging from the left in there? Have you heard anything like that?
I haven't heard anything like that. What I have seen is that, again, it doesn't paint a great picture. We had a story last week or 2 weeks ago. The pre-box office numbers, their projections for this Mandalorian movie coming out, they're not great.
Yeah.
They're actually down in terms of what you would expect from a Star Wars movie. And again, Star Wars hasn't had a theatrical release, I believe, since Rise of Skywalker.
A lot of streaming.
Been some time.
Yeah.
Yes. So this is a big deal to come out with a new Star Wars movie in the theaters, which, again, growing up, that was like a huge deal. That was all. I mean, there would be lines out the movie theaters for days to get into Star Wars.
Yeah.
The numbers, at least now for this, don't look great. I think as we get closer, people will probably get into it more. I am interested to see what the messaging is with The Mandalorian, because, again, Disney, I think they want to start toning it down. They kind of have to, because they're hemorrhaging money and people just aren't watching. And they've invested so much into Star Wars, 10 years ago when they took over the rights of the franchise. It'll be interesting to see if that is noticeably missing from this new installment, to see, well, okay, maybe they're slowly getting back on track, but it's going to take a lot.
Yeah, I might have to fight you for it, but I want to be Disney's next and last DEI hire as a conservative Christian parent of 4 kids. Like, can I just have a word, just so you don't even have to listen to me? Can you just
good luck?
Throw me out there and let me say, ooh, that's going to be a problem with a huge contingent of people, because they seem to be missing the mark so much. I'm glad you're speaking to, Josh D'Amaro being the new CEO and laying people off and realigning the business. It seems as though, of course, they're thinking consciously like that, but now would be a great time for them to say, hey, let's get back to being the best entertainers in the business.
Well, that's what Star Wars is. I mean, you said it at the top. That's why people went. Like, I can remember when Phantom Menace came out in 1999. I was 5 years old, 6 years old. It was the first Star Wars movie in 20 years, I think, in the theaters. That I can remember to this day the hype around that movie. Mm-hmm. And you just, again, it's been 30 years since that almost, but it doesn't have that anymore. They've got to get back to that, or they're never going to get any of these new fans to stay on board.
Zach Dean, thank you for the time today. It's a refreshing conversation. I think that people are so hungry to be just entertained anymore. So I appreciate you writing this article and coming and talk to us about it today.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate you having me on.
Take care. Bye-bye. Zach Dean is a writer for Outkick, host of Monday Morning Pit Stop on Outkick.com. Follow him on X at Team Zach Dean. That's Zach with an H. I want to get your guys' feedback. We went long there, so we'll just take a break and you guys can react to that when we come back. You got thoughts?
And there's one text that brought up a franchise that never gets mentioned that's been incredibly successful.
Okay. When we come back?
Yes.
314-241-9797. You send us your text and go vote in the YouTube live chat poll. Is the Star Wars franchise dead? No, you love everything about it? No, but they do need to write the spaceship. Yes, it's cooked, or you never cared about Star Wars. Back in a minute. Home Shield, FoundationRepairs.com. Matt Hayes is waiting up for you on the other end of the line at 314-271-9900. 314-271-9900. Matt Hayes, local guy, local business, grown right here in St. Louis. And for all of your foundation repair needs, he's the guy. He can come look at your uneven concrete and show you how polyjacking can fix it in a day. Puts a 5-year warranty on that system. They take a polyurethane foam, they inject it under the concrete, raise it up, level it out. Your problem is gone. Your liability at your business with that uneven concrete, gone. That uneven concrete around your patio at your pool where you stub your toe all the time, that's gone. You got it fixed with the expert in foundation repair. And it extends to basement waterproofing. It extends to settling in your home that is manifesting in your hallway when you notice the crack in the wall. And you need to have an expert come in with a peering service to restore your home's foundation and bring it back to where it needs to be. 314-271-9900. Call 314-271-9900. HomeShieldFoundationRepairs.com. So we just got done speaking with Zach Dean, a writer for Outkick, on his article that he wrote about the rapid, significant decline of the Star Wars franchise. You said, when we got text messages coming in, 314-241-9797 on the YouTube live chat poll, is the Star Wars franchise dead? We're asking for feedback from you as to other franchises or just huge movies that came out that died because they got super preachy. What do you got?
Okay, one person, and this isn't the one, but
Okay.
one person mentioned the Saw franchise.
Yeah, I've never seen any of those. That's not for my stomach.
That's also not really, there's not really like a wokery.
I want to see Woke Saw. Actually, I don't want to see Woke Saw. That's probably horrific.
And plus, that never had TV series or anything with it. It was just movies.
I don't think it has to have a TV series with it. Just like a franchise. Something people show up for because it is it.
Okay. The other one that is not mentioned is Fast and the Furious. That's a very long franchise.
I really like that movie.
But it didn't get ruined.
I only saw one, the original. But man, Paul Walker, what a beaut.
That's what I would have said too. Yeah,
That was rough for that franchise when
that
he
was
passed away.
Here's the one that somebody texted in that I said, man, that one gets overlooked. And I will add, I don't think this series ever jumped the shark and became preachy, woke, left, whatever you want. It always was pretty right down the center. And that is Stargate. The Stargate franchise.
Stargate ended before like woke became mainstream.
I don't even know what it is.
Maybe you could make that argument, but there was multiple films in that franchise, multiple series.
Yeah.
And they ran for a
Who is
very
in
long
Stargate?
time.
I don't know anything about it.
The original movie that was really good was James Spader and Kurt Russell.
I know who
And
Kurt
that
Russell
was
is.
1993, something like that. And then they had all these series that spawned out of that film that were all part of the same universe. And what's his name? MacGyver was the lead in the TV series. And there wasn't a whole lot of other stars in it. I mean, that was it. Pretty much made those people stars because
I don't
of the
think
series.
Stargate is like, is it franchise material though?
Yeah, just because there's so many
But
series
it's-
and episodes and
but it's a
iterations
cult
of
following.
it. It is more of a cult following, but it falls into that same. They always say it's like the third Star name because Star Wars and Star Trek always get mentioned.
I would throw in the mix the original, the Infinity Saga of the Marvel movies is incredible.
Mm-hmm.
From Captain America, the First Avenger, to Endgame is incredible. I mean, even the movies, like the original Thor movies, they're not good, but they're good if you know what I mean. My kids will be like, "Hey, Mom, Chris Hemsworth is on the TV." I'm like, "Thanks, kids." Jared's like, "Yeah, okay, whatever." But the movies that came after Endgame, a few of them we've watched, and I've been like, "Okay, that was a good story." But boy, they took some serious preachy turns. And the second that this is the biggest problem about it, I'm hunting for it. I'm sniffing it out. I'm watching the entire movie, waiting to be preached to, and I'm missing. Sometimes I get the end, I'm like, it's kind of a good movie. I wish I would have just allowed myself to enjoy it. But that's because that's what people have done for the last couple decades. So we kind of need to be able to turn ourselves back over to the entertainment industry if they're interested in entertaining us. Go to the YouTube poll and vote. We'll be right back.
250-00615. We've seen all kinds of clogs, so remember the rule. Only flush 3 things. Number 1, number 2, and toilet paper.
What about my dinosaurs?
No?
My monster truck?
Nope.
What about,
If it's not the big 3, don't flush it.
but if someone does flush a dinosaur?
Call Grasser. We clear the clog and get things moving again.
Green is always Grasser at GrasserHomeservices.com.
The BizDash 5K, presented by Worldwide Technology, is back. Produced by the St. Louis Sports Commission, this high-energy corporate race is St. Louis's healthiest happy hour, combining fitness, fun, and unbeatable team bonding for companies of every size. Runners and walkers of all levels are welcome. It all comes together at Energizer Park Thursday, May 7th in downtown St. Louis, an office party like no other. Create your company team today at stlbizdash.com.
Civia Law online at civialaw.com/events if you want to connect with one of the Civia Law different types of events that they have here. Let me pull them up here for you because they're in Missouri and Illinois alike, and they are estate planning workshops. So May 11th coming up here in a few days in Edwardsville, May 14th in O'Fallon, Illinois, May 18th in Highland, May 19th in Warrenton, Missouri. So like I said, both sides of the river. If you are thinking about sitting down and actually getting that trust hammered out, you want an expert who's going to make it easy, who's going to ask you the questions that you need to answer and help guide you through sensible ways to plan out that trust, to establish your powers of attorney. The way that you get a 2-week turnaround with Civia Law to make this done super quick, just sit down, lock in, and go. Reach out to Civia Law and mention Annie when you do and get a free strategy session. 833-995-WILL, CiviaLaw.com.
Wait, everything on this IHOP value menu is just $6?
I told you it was amazing. A huge plate of pancakes, bacon, and eggs is just $6.
Wow.
There's also French toast, a ham and cheese omelet, and oh, they got a BLT and fries now.
Okay, we're coming here every day.
You don't have to tell me twice.
Feast for just $6 with the IHOP value menu. $7 in some locations, available every day for a limited time at participating restaurants in the U.S. Hours may vary. No substitutions. Not valid with other discounts or promotions. Prices may vary.
Are you tired of feeling sick and tired? I'm Dr. Nick Barnes of Health From Within Family Chiropractic. Our simple 5-step approach aligns your health naturally. We correct spinal abnormalities to maximize nerve supply, focus on pure and simple nutrition, exercise and oxygen, mindset, and minimizing toxins in your body. Transform your health today with Health From Within, conveniently located on Manchester in Rock Hill, or online at healthfromwithinstl.com.
KFTK FM Florissant from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-777-7777.
That's 314-777-7777.
On an Iranian ship. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. This as a blockade of Iranian ports remains in effect.
Central Command says an Iranian-flagged vessel attempted to breach the U.S. naval blockade earlier today. CENTCOM says the vessel was warned multiple times before U.S. forces fired on it. The shots came from the 20-millimeter Gatling gun of an F/A-18 Super Hornet that took off from the USS Abraham Lincoln aircraft carrier. This does come as the region is waiting to see if an agreement will be reached between the United States and Iran.
Fox's Trey Yingst in Tel Aviv. The White House has not confirmed an Axios report that a memorandum, the moratorium on uranium enrichment, would be part of a 14-point memorandum of understanding delivered to the Iranians.
We're not going to let Iran have a nuclear weapon. And we're not going to let that happen.
President Trump says Iran wants to negotiate.
We're dealing with people that want to make a deal very much, and we'll see whether or not they can make a deal that's satisfactory to us. We have it very much under control.
Citing the possibility of negotiations resuming, the president has suspended a U.S. effort to guide ships through the Strait of Hormuz. 3 cruise ship passengers are evacuated from a ship with a deadly outbreak.
2 patients with hantavirus infections and 1 suspected of being infected, including the ship's doctor, were flown out of the Cape Verde Islands off the coast of West Africa to the Netherlands. The ship was continuing on to the Canary Islands, where remaining passengers are expected to receive medical screenings before being allowed to return home. A Dutch national died on board the ship a month ago. His wife, who left the ship, died after collapsing at the airport in Johannesburg, South Africa. And the body of a German national who died remains on the ship.
Fox's Jessica Rosenthal. The disease is mainly spread through contaminated rodent droppings. Officials telling AP they believe the couple initially infected got it while bird watching at a landfill during a stop in Argentina. America is listening to Fox News.
I move mountains for a living. Literally. That means I don't carry hand lotion, and when it comes to serious heartburn, I don't mess around with anything but Rolaids. Rolaids' dual-active formula has calcium carbonate and magnesium hydroxide that relieves heartburn fast. Yeah, you heard right. 2 actives for that powerful relief. And the best part? The roll fits right here in my pocket, so I can get back to moving mountains.
Rolaid spells powerful relief. Read each label. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Lots of places can expose you to identity theft.
Oh no.
That's why LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points a second for threats to your identity, which is way more than anyone can do on their own. If we find anything suspicious, like new loans or changes to your financial accounts, we alert you right away, all through text, phone, email, or the LifeLock app. Get the alerts that could make all the difference. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS at LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
The northwest flow doing its thing today, 58 for the high, but we've got partly sunny skies anyway. Tonight, partly cloudy. It's chilly, almost cold for this time of year, 42. Thursday, sunny skies, 65. Friday, partly sunny, 75. We've got some showers and thunderstorms around Friday night. Do that again Saturday night. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
The Annie Frey Show is sponsored by Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation. Time to schedule your air conditioner service. Get not just your AC, but your entire HVAC system checked for $19 a month with the Preferred Partner Plan. And be ready for the first heat wave. AirComfortService.com.
Annie Frey, Ryan Wiggins, Brad Ray.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
For goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show on 97.1 FM Talk.
Welcome back. We are happy to have you here midweek Wednesday on the Annie Frey Show. The YouTube poll for today, we're asking you about the Star Wars franchise. Is it dead? I don't really care about Star Wars. My answer to this is never cared about Star Wars. That's the last option, so you can join me there. The other options are no, you love everything Star Wars. If it's Star Wars, you love it. No, but they need to write the spaceship, or yes, it's cooked. So go to the youtube.com/@AnnieFrey. You can just go on your YouTube app, pull up the show that is broadcasting right now in the live chat. You'll be able to see the poll there. We want your vote. We want your comments too at 314-241-9797. I want to ask you guys a question about phone usage. How much time, if you're sitting watching TV, watching your kids play sports, waiting for something, is it possible for you to sit there and not be on your phone?
Yeah, it's possible. In fact, if it's a high action sporting event, if I'm watching one of my kids play basketball,
not. I mean, if there's something happening and you're present for it, but the action is not like. So, for instance, like maybe you went to the movies, and the previews haven't started, and the movie hasn't started, and you're just sitting there.
Well, I'm probably either talking to my wife, who is the only person I ever go see movies with, or I'm on my phone. So,
is there any passive time where you just don't use your phone? You're sitting in a game and it's halftime for your kids.
Yes, there are times that I specifically don't use my phone, but it's few and far between, where I'm trying to make sure that I'm present in whatever moment it is.
That's the key, because there are a lot of moments where we used to be present because that was all there was.
That was what it was. I'm here now.
You'd have to physically hide in order to not be present. When you're just sitting there, if it's before or after the kids' soccer game or volleyball game or whatever, it's very easy to be sitting in the bleachers, engrossed in your phone. You are not accessible to the people around you. People will not bother you because you're on your phone. If you were sitting there and you were just watching the kids warm up or get their bags together, don't you appear to be much more approachable?
Yes.
How much of your time, Brad, right now, are you spending on your phone? He's like, this is so boring.
Guests,
passive
Annie.
time, nothing to do.
It's producer things. This has to do with that interview that we did with Zach Dean, and if you haven't seen that, go ahead and use the app.
About Star Wars.
Yeah, about Star Wars.
But passive time.
Passive time, I would say I'm probably on my phone 85-90% of my passive time. I'm on my phone a lot.
Same. I mean, I don't know why I wouldn't be. And I don't want to be. If there was a switch that I could flip, I would rather not be on. But that's what everybody else is. And I say this specifically to you, Ryan, as a parent, because I'm experiencing this with my kids. Trying to not create Martians because they don't have access to anything because the Fry parents are just the worst. Limited on this, that, and the other thing. They have phones. They have some social media, but there are some that are just not happening. It's very difficult to try to establish a be present in the moment atmosphere when realistically we aren't present in the moment.
Mm-hmm.
You ever had a kid crawl up to you and subtly or maybe just very directly kind of point out that you're spending a lot of time on your phone?
Not a lot, but
I mean, even once.
Yeah, it's happened.
It's
pretty rough.
It's gutting.
You know, what's really hard is that sometimes my kids will want to, especially my youngest still, he will want to show me something he's made or something he drew, and he will come up and he start explaining it. Lately, it's been basically Star Wars spaceships made out of Legos. And he'll come up. Yeah, I know. And it's great. And he's designing them himself. He's finding other pieces and making things that weren't real ships and being like, okay, here's how I put this together. And I'm like, first of all, that's awesome. Second of all, you're explaining it to me is still not more interesting than this video.
Correct.
And I got to tell myself, stop it. Listen to every word of this.
Do you have to I'll have to put my phone down. Because your kid can see you peeking at it.
Yes.
Your kid knows that your kid is in competition with some dumb post on X that is mildly amusing or nostalgic or infuriating. Your kid knows that they're competing with it. So I'll have to what I've learned the only way that I can police myself on that is to set the phone down. And God willing, possibly maybe forget that it's sitting there. But just specifically with kids. And we'll get into also what it does to your relationship, your marriage, because it's even easier to do. It's even easier to do there. There's an NBC report that covered a group of UC Berkeley students. They did a 9-week digital detox.
Dr. Sahar Youssef studies how tech and doom scrolling shapes the brain. Her students tried a 9-week digital detox, and she says the results showed less anxiety, less depression, and more mindfulness. She says our current digital habits come with a cost.
So we're actually seeing brain atrophy. We're seeing degradation of certain brain areas related to self-awareness, cognitive control, which is very, very scary.
For some, the shift was immediate.
After I removed this negative presence, I realized all the positive aspects of my life.
These students say they're not anti-tech, they just want safeguards.
I find it interesting that they're playing Connect 4 in a park. It's like you've really taken this to the extreme to make your point that they're like, fun exists elsewhere. Look at life-size lawn Connect 4. This is what you've been missing. That in the sun.
I don't need this phone anymore. Into the lake. I'm going to go roll in the wildflowers.
But it's not. I mean, even if it is true, I find myself assessing. I've been doing this lately because I scroll X quite a lot, and that is It's true, but it's also a crutch. It's for the show because I pretty much pull all of the sound that I want to have played on the show all comes from X. I send it to Brad, and then we make it happen. So X is where I feel like I do work. It's where, certainly if there's some sort of event, when the president gets potentially shot at or whatever it was at the White House Correspondents' Dinner, you can watch Fox News, but you're going to find out things on X maybe an hour to hours before Fox News is willing to report it.
Yeah.
So you might understand that maybe 60% of what you read on X is true. And if you read it with a discerning eye and ear, then you can know that. But you'll learn things on X before it's before it's confirmed to the standards that the cable networks and the news networks will want to report it. So I'm on X, but I become so sarcastic and cynical on X. The more I scroll, the amount of tweets or posts or whatever on X that I start and go, I'm not putting that. They don't need, this is something you whisper in the back of the room to your best friend. I don't need to put this on here, and I delete. That X makes me cynical and sarcastic. Facebook makes me nostalgic in a sad way. It makes me mourn what is lost or what I don't have. It doesn't make me happier to scroll through Facebook. And Instagram for me, which is a newer place that I am trying to exist there. You can follow the Annie Frey Show on all of these different platforms. Instagram for me almost becomes voyeuristic in a way where I feel like people are being super introspective on Instagram in a way that I can peek behind the curtain of people's lives that they're kind of pouring out there for you. But it's not really, in my opinion, my assessment of my reaction to it is it's not a Christian way to consume other people's lives. It doesn't. Every single one of these interactions that I have with these social media platforms invokes an emotional response and feeling in me. And it gives me an opportunity, which I think is a negative opportunity, to assess my life compared to fill in the blank. So on X, it's not really personal. You're not really learning personal things on X. It's just a slap fight all the time. An out meme competition, a snark competition. But it's always, to me, X is all about us and them. It's a collective, but it's a battle.
Mm-hmm.
And Facebook for me is a very personal measuring tape of where am I? How do I feel about what my blessings are? How do I feel about what my accomplishments are and those that are in my circle compared to all of the highlight reels of everybody else's lives who I'm following right here? I'm not putting my highlight reel out for people. I've had this conversation on the show before, too, where I don't like to put my kids' sports accomplishments on social media because I feel as though it's not the picture of what brought... I've thought way too much about it. I know that it's like not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing to put these accomplishments on social media. But I feel like if you scroll through and you just see the highlight reel of Charlie got a hit, Charlie got a hit, Charlie got a hit, Charlie got a hit. I mean, he's a good hitter, and he gets hits. But even the professionals get a hit if they're lucky, if they're really lucky, every third time that they're up to bat. And because I'm stupid about these things, I'm like, I should put up a video of Charlie striking out and some moral story on there to make people feel better for themselves. That's the worst mom thing to do.
No, you should do that.
So
that
bad.
would make us feel good.
Charlie would be like, Mom, what are you doing?
You should only post
Everybody
failures.
struggles, Charlie. People need to know. And he'd be like, why mine? That's not how you do it. But that's not what Facebook is. And I wouldn't change anybody because I did it. So it's a relationship that you have individually from yourself to the thing that you're doom scrolling on. And I have realized that none of these places make me happier, and they do effectively bring me down. And then you realize, back to what we were talking about before, your kid's showing you a Lego that they created that might look like nothing that you can identify, and they're beaming with pride with it. And I'm side-eyeing some dumb thing on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter or whatever, X. What am I giving my time to? Even the dead time. Like, what if instead I was sitting on the couch and I just looked available? I don't know if that's realistic. I don't know if that's something that as a mom, and we haven't talked about this, and we can talk about it in a little bit after Ethan Sports and Local, but what about with your spouse? When you're sitting, if you just happen, Ryan, to be sitting, if it's just you and your wife, isn't it super tempting to be able to pour yourself into your phone because you're not taking your time away from your kids? Like you both you simultaneously have this me time where I can kind of do whatever I want with my time. And I'm not taking it away from anybody, but you're taking it away from her, and she's taking it away from you. And it's all for a phone. There's nothing gratifying that comes from it.
Last thing I'll say about it before we go is that when I grew up, my parents, and probably their parents, used to just watch TV. They'd have the TV on. Or you'd have the newspaper going while you were watching TV or whatever. Mm-hmm. So it's not as if they were fully engaged with us
just
all
like,
the time.
Children, come be present with me.
But it was true that stuff did kind of run out. You read the sports page and then you kind of were like, okay, what else? And that was it. Or you were watching TV and the person could literally come up and stand between you and the TV and get your attention.
But wouldn't a lot of those things, too, be done with each other?
Yes.
Nothing on the phone is done with anybody else.
It's all personal. So there are things to compare it to. So I don't want to make in my head, I'm always telling myself, well, it's not as if nobody in my childhood ever had some other thing going on.
Our kids told us to leave and come back when it was dark. There were literally warnings that were like, it's 10 o'clock. Do you know where your children are?
Yeah.
Different times.
But it has gotten, like you said, it's gotten between you and 1 foot from your face. So it's really hard to pull away from.
Yeah. It's so closed off. It's such this little bubble. And of course, it's visible with your children. It's visible with your spouse, but your spouse is probably sitting in their bubble as well. And then it permeates out to everywhere else. I don't know if the solution here is lawn-sized Connect 4 in a park.
It is. And like Brad said, bubbles.
Bubbles?
Just blowing bubbles and just running around and trying to catch them on your nose. Frolicking. That's right.
That's not really going to be an enticement for me.
Well, I'm writing it
But
down.
Molly,
That's what I'm going to start doing.
My 4-year-old, and she doesn't even want to go to Disney World. She just wants the bubble maker. That's all she needs.
See?
Mm-hmm.
And it's cheaper.
Not if you have to buy it in Disney World. You can buy those suckers on Amazon, and I have. All right, let's break. Ethan, Sports and Local, next on the Annie Frey Show.
Comes to selling, that's leaving money on the table. Hey, it's Mark Cox, and I'm with Gloria Lou, your home sold guaranteed realty. Gloria, how do you help sellers make sure they're getting top dollar?
The reality is, most homes don't sell for what they should. I see it happen all the time. They either price it wrong or they don't create enough demand. But with over 2,400 buyers in my buyers in waiting database and my exclusive pricing strategy, I'm able to offer my seller a 100% market value guarantee. And if I can't get you 100% of your home's market value, I'll pay you the difference. So you don't have to wonder if you left money on the table. You can sell with confidence, knowing you maximize your sale.
Make sure you get every dollar for your home. Call St. Louis real estate expert Gloria Lou today at 314-325-6888 or visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. That's GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. Gloria and seller must agree on price and possession.
Summer is on the way, or should I say the heat in St. Louis, it's on its way. Be here before we even know it. If you haven't had your air conditioners checked and set up and ready to go for this cooling season, or if you were told you might need a new one, or you just think this is the time of the year, this year is the time to just go ahead and replace it. Prices are down, 0% financing is available. It's still the best time to call me. Don't put it off. One easy number in Missouri and Illinois. It is 314-293-2600. Again, that's 314-293-2600 in Missouri and Illinois, or on the internet, bartinman.com. That is Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com. God bless.
Men, if you're suffering from erectile dysfunction or PE, you're not alone. Most importantly, you don't have to live with it. Paramount Men's Medical Center restores men's sex lives in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, even when Viagra and Cialis don't work. Here's Dr. Simovitz, specialist in men's health.
Paramount Men's Medical Center's painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. 98% of patients see instant results right in the office.
Men are now lasting longer than they ever imagined. And the best part, at Paramount Men's Medical Center, your consultation and first treatment are free. Qualified patients even get their testosterone checked free. Call 314-887-4333. 314-887-4333. Take control of your sex life. Call now. 314-887-4333.
Stewart's American Mortgage and the Bagel Loan has an incredible opportunity for you, and I want you to listen up closely because you've heard me talking about the Bagel Loan and how it comes with no dollars in closing costs. You go through and you get a new home, you get that new mortgage, you pay nothing in closing costs when you use the Bagel Loan with Stewart's American Mortgage. Well, right now, get 314-324-4440 down in your phone, 314-324-4440, a 1% discount on your interest rate for the first year. For the first year of your new loan on a new home purchase, lock in a 1% lower interest rate on a new 30-year loan, and you still can qualify for the Bagel Loan, which means no closing costs. One more time, for the first year of your new loan, you can lock in a 1% lower interest rate on a new 30-year loan and still get that bagel loan, which comes with no closing costs. 314-324-4440. You can call or text Stewie directly at 314-324-4440. Google the bagel loan for more information and tell him Annie sent you. NMLS number 226715.
Don't let tax refund worries hold you back. File now with TurboTax on Intuit Credit Karma. They'll find every credit and deduction to help you get every refund dollar you deserve or your money back. Start filing today in the Credit Karma app.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show. 97.1 FM Talk. St. Louis Conservative.
Hold up. Check it out.
Sports and local.
He's well-read, but his hair isn't. It's Ethan Hannaford.
It's all well read.
That's right.
No.
No, that's not right.
No.
Thank you, Ryan.
You're welcome. Beautiful.
Very nice of you.
Glimmering.
Threw him off with the compliment.
You literally just told me that you were going to be queuing something up, getting something ready, and you weren't going to be nearly as involved in this segment. And here you are talking about my glimmering red hair. Could you please just do what you need to do over there?
Wow.
Please?
Hang on a second.
Hey, get that bell away from him.
That was a ranty way of...
Ethan, is there anything else you'd like to say?
How's your day going, Annie?
You're
fired.
I was going to say, I can't fire any of you, obviously.
I know, but I can.
You cannot.
Yeah, I
you
can.
firing me?
I had something
guys
I
didn't
want to
know
say,
this,
but I
but-
don't actually remember what you caught me so off guard. You put me in my place. I will just go over here and do my business.
All right,
She's going to do her business in the corner.
Drop the dog.
Oh, no. Doing business.
Doing her business.
Yesterday's St. Louis Cardinals game got postponed. They were supposed to face off against the Milwaukee Brewers. As a result, just a 2-game series now. And that game against the Brewers gets moved to Tuesday, July 7th, where they will play a split doubleheader against the Brew Crew. They'll play 1:15 and 6:45 that day. And actually, it comes at a good time for St. Louis because they were in the middle of a 17-game stretch where they had no off days. They're around day 11 of that, I believe. So good for the Cardinals to at least get some sort of off day. They still, went in, of course, in preparation for the game, but it got called about 2 hours prior to the start of the game. So Cardinals had an off day yesterday, and then they will be heading out on the road and facing off against I think they have the San Diego Padres coming up next.
One job, Ethan.
I know. I'm kind of embarrassed. Yeah, they got the San Diego Padres coming up, and then the Athletics, because we can't call them the Oakland Athletics anymore because they're not there.
Call them whatever you want.
Yeah.
Are they changing their name?
They are right now just the Athletics. They play in Sacramento at their AAA ballpark, and they are currently building a ballpark in Las Vegas. The construction is underway. So eventually they will be the Vegas Athletics, but not yet. High-speed F1 powerboat racing is returning to the mighty Mississippi in Alton, Illinois. The second annual Alton Midwest Nationals race will be held July 17th through 19th. Following their debut in 2024, the Midwest Nationals has cemented its place on the Formula One powerboat calendar through 2027. General admission tickets start at $15 per person per day, plus fees, and include access to some bleacher seats on a first-come, first-served basis. Ryan, will you be in attendance?
Yeah, that is actually 2024 is the first year I got my annual calendar now, which is my motorboat power calendar that I get every Christmas.
You ordered a motorboat calendar and got the different thing.
Motorized boat calendar that I always ask for. I get it every year. And that means we're in 2026. That means 2.
It's like, this is not what I ordered.
Why are there boats here?
Katie, are you into boats? What even is this?
Why are there boats here?
Did you order this for me?
I didn't order a boat.
I said motorboat.
They got me.
This is not what I thought this was going to be.
And you know how they got me? They got me all sailboats. That's the joke.
Sailboats
that
have
was
no
the joke
motors.
the whole time we were talking about that.
No
we weren't talking about
motors.
motorboating in any other way.
Oh, okay, got it.
There's
Thank
another
you
way?
for the clarification.
No.
I appreciate that.
Okay, good.
Just clarifying.
Good job, guys.
You're welcome.
Appreciate the work. The Del Mar
Wasn't
Loop
much
trolley is set to return, or has returned to service. Excuse me.
You know how in Austin Powers, there's a scene, I don't even know, I guess maybe Dr. Evil. No, it's not. But there's a scene where Austin Power goes, "Why won't you die?" I feel like the Del Mar Loop trolley, I don't even know what the problem is with it, but it's always there. Can you imagine talking about a specific location's mode of transportation more than the Del Mar Loop trolley? What is the deal with it?
I think we've probably covered motorboating on this show a little bit more than that.
Alton's
in its various forms.
Motorboating. That's another line. You motorboating.
A lot of motorboating
Son
that
of a
goes
gun.
on in Alton, Illinois. Ryan would know.
That's what I.
You gotta-
Dang it! I got jokes, but I just don't want to go there.
You go to the.
You don't want to destroy the segment?
Yeah, it's too good.
What's that place? The outdoor place on the river in Grafton is so fun. They have great margaritas. It's not the landing spot. It's the loading dock.
Loading dock.
The landing spot. My brain was like, I'll just put you here. You can do the rest of the work. The loading dock. See the motorboats go back and forth like all the time.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're pirate ships. Have you ever seen that?
Nope. What does that mean?
There was a pirate ship. You could get on a pirate ship.
Old-fashioned or Somalian?
I didn't write it. I don't know
They're
who's
searching
driving.
for booty.
So they got old-fashioned pirate ships that just go down the Mississippi?
I've never
They
seen
did.
that before. That's pretty
I
cool.
don't know if it's still there. I mean, all I know is I'd be sitting there on the loading dock having a nice margarita, and there'd be a bachelorette party that would go by on the pirate ship, and they're like,
And there was also motorboating that went on the pirate ship in the bachelorette parties.
All these girls are going, yo, ho, yo,
I don't think
ho,
you need to understand that doesn't actually happen at bachelorette parties. It's just like
Oh, it doesn't?
men and their like pillow fighting sleepover fantasies. It doesn't really happen.
You know what? We just make that happen now. We're like, if girls aren't going to do it, let's just do it ourselves.
It's fine with me. Just don't tell us about it.
We don't.
Which one, the pillow fights or the motorboating?
You are.
We've been doing this for years.
Ethan?
Should I keep going with the...
I don't know what you... Keep going.
Should I keep going with the Del Mar Loop
Yeah,
trolley?
you started. You got to finish.
Oh, the trolley.
Yeah, the
It's
trolley.
back again.
You want to hear about it?
No, but go on.
All right.
I
Well, I'll
do.
go on to you want to hear? Okay. All right. Well, they're celebrating their 4th straight year of operations, Annie.
Huzzah.
4 straight years that the Del Mar Loop trolley has
Good
been
job, guys.
not having
We did it.
issues.
Yay.
So, it was shut down
Are
in
we going to
2019.
acknowledge this every year? Is this an annual thing?
Well, this is my first spring, I'm pretty sure, doing sports and local, so it's my first time acknowledging it.
Well, this is a big moment for you too then.
Yeah, it is.
Congrats.
Maybe it's the last time that I acknowledge it based off of the reception of the room. Holy cow!
You can
Some
do it once a
serious
year. You're
animosity.
Count
about
Del
the
Mar Loop trolley
Loop
years
trolley.
like dog years. This
Do you
is
want
a
to
huge
hear some?
accomplishment.
Do you want to hear some service
They're
features?
almost on Social Security. Well, they probably. Well, anyway.
What about those service features, Ethan?
Yeah, it's a 2.2 mile route that has access to 10 stops between the Missouri History Museum and the University City Public Library, and it's free and operates on a first come,
It's
first
included.
served basis.
There you go.
That's what I say at Disney when we go. It's like it's free. I'm like, it is included. Same with the. Isn't it a taxpayer funded endeavor?
Well, if we didn't live or work in Missouri, then it would be free to us. But we do. So it's
What
not.
a shame. That's unfortunate.
Ethan,
Yeah.
more?
Oh, right. That's where I'm supposed
Can
to keep
you
going.
be
The Mis-
Can you be unhappy on a trolley? Can you be unjolly on a trolley?
He's drunk.
The Missouri House advanced a bill last week supporting permanent change to daylight saving time if Congress votes to do so first. HB 1758 establishes the daylight saving as new standard time pact. Clocks in Missouri would be set to spring forward year round. At present, daylight saving time is observed from March 8th to November 1st, 2026. Would you guys be in favor of this, or are you anti daylight saving time?
I would not mind if we only did one thing. The thing that would make me move is if Missouri is one time zone and Illinois is another. That'd be enough for me.
Me too. I would no longer cease. I would cease to exist.
I'm the one person on the
You
face
would
of the
not be
planet
jolly.
who likes when we change time in the fall winter.
You do like it.
I do like it.
Why?
Well, yeah, because you gain an hour.
Well, not necessarily. It gets darker earlier, and I can put my kids to bed earlier, which gives me maybe 30 to 45 minutes of time to myself, or like if my husband and I are up. They just get tired sooner when it gets darker earlier. I don't know. As a parent, that's money.
Brad, for or against?
I'm kind of with Annie on this one. I'm good with one time as long as Illinois and Missouri do the same thing.
Even if the bill makes it through the Missouri Senate and is signed by Governor Kehoe, the U.S. Congress would need to enact a nationwide daylight saving time for Missouri to be able to, for the law in Missouri to be able to take effect. So there's still a couple of different hoops that need to be jumped through in order for this to happen. Annie?
Yeah, what?
One more, or are we donezo?
Well, I mean, that could both.
I think you've said your piece.
Is it really
Right.
good content, Ethan, or should we go to a break?
You want to hear about
This, I'm asking for your critical application
just
of your
tease it.
brain.
Just tell us what it might be.
Don't tease it. There's a really big store that's about to open in St. Louis.
Please go on. Just tell us what it is.
Well,
you
now
don't
we
even take
gotta know.
yourself seriously.
Just do the story now.
We're gonna end this talking about your very red hair.
What's this big store?
The St. Louis is opening its largest Target.
Oh, hey.
It's
the Mimos.
149,000 square feet. It's going to be opening up on Olive in
People
University
are like,
City
Annie, you need to do
on May
more local
17th.
news. This is exactly what I envision.
It's going to be
we're right in the epicenter. I
gonna be-
hope you people are happy.
attached with the Deerbergs and the Costco,
Yeah.
right all in that area. And it's opening on May 17th. Largest Target in St. Louis.
Did you hear about that big store coming to town? Yeah, what is it? I don't know. I turned the Annie Frey show off at 2:34.
That's what you say when talk about when you're standing in your front yard holding a beer watching the tornado come in.
Yeah,
That's
water
what
in the
Midwestern,
ground for no reason.
Gotta get it in. New grass seed, you know. We'll be right back.
What's up? It's Draymond Green. I'm back for my 14th NBA season, and my podcast, The Draymond Green Show, is back too. This season, I'm breaking down games, reacting to the biggest NBA stories, and sitting down with teammates, rivals, and culture shapers. And trust me, I'm not holding back, on the court or on the mic. 2 new episodes every week, new segments, big conversations, real basketball talk for the real hoop heads. Listen to and follow The Draymond Green Show wherever you get your podcasts. We're back, we're better, let's get it.
Men, if you're suffering from erectile dysfunction or PE, you're not alone. Most importantly, you don't have to live with it. Paramount Men's Medical Center restores men's sex lives in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, even when Viagra and Cialis don't work. Here's Dr. Simovitz, specialist in men's health.
Paramount Men's Medical Center's painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. 98% of patients see instant results right in the office.
Men are now lasting longer than they ever imagined. And the best part, at Paramount Men's Medical Center, your consultation and first treatment are free. Qualified patients even get their testosterone checked free. Call 314-887-4333. 314-887-4333. Take control of your sex life. Call now. 314-887-4333.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. After suffering an injury, you may face many hard questions. What will tomorrow bring? Which firm should I choose to represent me and my family? At Morgan & Morgan, we will hold your hand every step of the way. From our one-click sign-up, mobile apps, and 24/7 availability, we make it easy to get your case started right from the comfort of your couch. All firms are not the same. The choice is easy. Morgan & Morgan, for the people. Injured? Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Hi, I'm Bob Kershaw with Retirement Advisory Group.
Hi, I'm Tammy Kershaw. When we meet our clients for the first time, they have built up a lifetime of savings. Their question is, what can we do with this money so we can live comfortably the rest of our lives? First, we develop a strategy to protect your nest egg from any market losses. Then, we build your own personalized structured income plan that will generate you an income the rest of your life. We put you in control of your money.
You've earned it, and it's our job to make sure you enjoy it. Let our team show you how you can have the retirement of your dreams. Call us now at 314-993-9494 for a no-cost, no-obligation retirement review. You will also get a copy of our latest edition book, Your Key to a Worry-Free Retirement. We've been helping retirees and pre-retirees retire with confidence for 40 years. Call us now at 314-993-9494 or go online at retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
Hey, it's Mark Cox, and if you're still looking for the perfect Mother's Day gift, I've got an idea. Head to Hot Tubs of St. Louis. They're having a huge Mother's Day sale. A hot tub isn't just a gift, it's relaxation, better sleep, stress relief, and a backyard upgrade the whole family will love. I'll be live on site Saturday, May 9th from 11 to 1 at Hot Tubs of St. Louis, 5030 Griffin Road, just south of 270 and Tesson Ferry. Come by, say hi, and find Mom the gift she really wants.
It is time if you want to go see the Guns N' Hoses Soccer Cup at Worldwide Technology Soccer Park on May 30th. Right now is the time to call and win free tickets. Be the ninth caller at 314-241-9797. You will win a pair of free tickets if you are the ninth caller. Prize provided by Guns N' Hoses. So if you've not been to this event, this is a great opportunity to go win some free tickets. 314-241-9797. It is 2:39. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Happy birthday, America, in 2026. Get used to hearing the word semi-quincentennial on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Welcome back. So the poll question for today is surrounding Star Wars, but we've talked a lot about how entertainment and how, like, do we want to market? Is it Obama? Is it leading into Obama? When did everything start getting so gosh darn preachy?
Man, it's been in phases because I feel like my entire life I've had to be aware that Hollywood is left, and that includes in the 80s.
And I don't even really care if it's left. But there is a shaming of the existence of the opposition. So it's not like there is a political lean of the creators and that might sneak its way into. It is the point of the films and the shows and the content that gets put out to put you in your place if you don't think correctly, to call you out, and to really force. I think one of the reasons Hollywood is having I think they're maybe past the valley and maybe some people are making their way back up. The idea of the Hollywood movie star, the A-list movie star, what even is that anymore? There aren't that many people who are coming out of the film industry, the TV industry, being that A-lister movie star, the way you might think of George Clooney or even before that Robert Redford or some of these just iconic Julia Roberts type of people who are just A-list through and through. Mysterious. You just assume that everything they do in their life, because they're the celebrity they are, is just different. The way that, they don't put their pants on in the morning the way we do because they're celebrities. I don't know if there's a mark for it. If Hollywood has always been, our people who are artists are going to be more abstract and more maybe idyllic about what they envision. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's actually, I think, very healthy to have bookends where you have people who are super analytical. I used to always think, when President Obama was president, like, we need a businessman who comes in there who's not a stuffy politician. We need somebody who knows in there and understands how to get and that's exactly what we have right now. And there are a lot of people who like what we have right now in policy, but are thinking, gosh, it'd be really good if we had a stuffy politician in there who also knew how to get the job done. It's just very exhausting to try to balance that at all times. When politics has made its way into every corner, think about this for a second. How many forms of entertainment have been sullied by political messaging? Because I can think of how the NFL has. I can think at times, I think Major League Baseball definitely was susceptible to it, but kind of moved away from it enough. Hockey, there have been conversations where hockey has tried to, and different, you will see, somebody's going to check me on this, and I'd be willing to be corrected, but I feel like there are more hockey clubs out there that are willing to say, we're not doing that. Just boldly say, nope, we're not going down the messaging route. We're going to play hockey. And hockey fans have been like, we're cool with that. But the NFL, Major League Baseball, the music industry, of course, the movie industry, the television industry, there's a lot of preaching going on and a lot less entertaining going on. But then something comes out and it's entertaining and everyone's like, oh my gosh. And I think of Top Gun Maverick as the epitome of how when you just stick to a fantastic story and you tell it as best you can with incredible effects and incredible acting and an incredible storyline, that you will bring people will reward that. We're not looking to be preached to. And I don't know who would go to Top Gun Maverick. I mean, imagine being the type of person who would go and they'd be like, it is just too pro-America for me. What? They're really sweet fighter jets that go in and take out a nondescript enemy, and Tom Cruise and Rooster survive. Sorry to spoil it. But they make it out by the hair of their chin. It's just a good story. There are so many opportunities in that movie where I thought, here we go. This is gonna be, and then they didn't. They just told an incredibly good all-around story, and people rewarded it. So Top Gun is coming back out into theaters, the first one and the second one, the week of May 13th. I cannot wait to go see these films in theater, and I want to take my kids because I want them to appreciate the investment that Tom Cruise and, is it Jerry Bruckheimer, I think, who did Top Gun? I think.
I don't know.
The investment that they made in good entertainment. I want Top Gun to go back in the movie theaters and be wildly successful, to once again remind people that good stories matter. And they don't, that's all it has to be. And everybody, the people who go watch Maverick, they vote for everybody. Who cares who they vote for? It doesn't even matter. Let's get back to that. Here's a clip more to the YouTube poll question. And when I interviewed Zach Dean, who's a writer for Outkick, who was talking about the slog that has been Star Wars as of late, I asked him this, and he confirmed that you get preachy in your storylines, and it wrecks the whole thing. You could take some. How much could you think you could wreck Star Wars? It was almost too big to fail, but it turns out not so much. Here's a TikToker who happens to be trans talking about Star
Look
Wars.
around my office and you'll know the fandom that I grew up with. But Star Wars has some really important lessons to teach us. It is all about fighting fascism, and it is all about hope. The resistance is something you do even when you know you may never see the end of it. There are so many incredible lines. Luthen Rail's great line of, I burn my life to make a sunrise that I know I'll never see, sticks with me. But we want to see that sunrise. We want to be part of it. And that's why we resist. That's why we hope. That's why we keep fighting for better. So may the 4th be with you, and I hope we can fight the fascists here just as effectively as the rebellion does in Star Wars.
Okay. So I don't know that has anything to do with the failure of Star Wars as of late, but I do find it interesting that I, too, want to fight the fascists and feel like the current president got elected to do that. Fight the fascists. We're all identifying fascists. Some of us just actually know what the word fascism means.
Well, that means that that's a good message because it's a universal truth that you can apply however you want. That's the point. In fact, I like morality plays. In fact, I think that's why I lean towards Star Trek. The original was very much that way.
Star Wars being super immoral.
Star Wars just being more about action and characters. Star Trek being a little more cerebral.
Action and characters.
Whatever you want
The
to call
Force
it.
has a light side and a dark side.
There are
Nerds.
certain types of scripts that I like the most, which are they're making a point about human nature. They're making some big point. It could be anything. It could be just that, hey, you have to have perseverance to be a person. A lot of times that's the basic message of an action movie, is just you have to have perseverance.
I think that what I'm listening to trans TikToker there talk about is the interpretation that they have in this film is allowed.
Yeah, it is.
Mine could be different. But the point is that the story resonates with something that you care, like a cause or an emotion that you have, and then you're allowed to interpret that film in a way that fits your worldview. Where it gets out of the way is where the worldview is predetermined, and you will have a press tour that explains to you what you're going to get from this from the very beginning, and then people are like, I'm not even going to do it. I've seen a lot of people who have gone to watch the live action Snow White, which we trashed on this show, because Disney had their dumb Snow White actress going out talking about how toxic the movie Snow White was. Not effective. Talking about being kissed. Dude, I don't care who you are. If you can bring me back to life because I'm conked out, permanently asleep, and you can kiss me and wake me up, kiss me.
Yeah, I'll be kissed by Ethel Merman if she brings me back to life.
Ethel Merman. Weird callback. I just don't see the future in the way that we've been preached to for so long. And I actually feel like maybe Hollywood is going, what if there's another way? What is it? To make loads of money. What if we just started telling good stories again? I'm ready to show up for it. Go vote in the poll. We'll be right back. Point Pest Control. Point with an E, pointpestcontrol.com. You got ants in your pants, in your house? Do you want to get rid of them? You need to call Point Pest Control, 636-798-0023, and get rid of them. Who was I just seeing say they had ants in their bathroom? It's just, ants are so annoying because they're kind of sinister. They exist, and you don't realize they're there until you realize that you see one, and then you know that it has friends. Well, you call Point Pest Control, and they get rid of them all. And you can try to do the store, the quick over the counter, whatever you call those. You go get the sprays or the traps or whatever, and they take care of the problem for 48 hours, and then they're back, and then you feel defeated. Just start with a phone call to Point Pest Control and mention Annie when you do, because you're going to save 10% on the best deal that they have going right now on their pest services. 636-798-0023. Call 636-798-0023 and tell Point Pest Control that Annie sent you. Point with an E, pointpestcontrol.com. Gosh, Johnny Cash is good. Is it Johnny Cash something that comes by every generation? Is it one of a kind? Is there a Johnny Cash now?
Ooh, man, I don't know.
I think he's a one of a kind.
He does seem like he probably is he's his own guy.
His story is one that has been duplicated many times. I mean, he's got a troubled past, but a pretty restored finality. But I remember I was telling my husband the other day, I heard some song by Johnny Cash. I can't remember which one it was, but I told him, I go, this reminds me of when we went to the Lorry in Highland to see Walk the Line. I love that movie. It's just a really, really good movie. I cannot believe Joaquin Phoenix didn't win an Oscar for that. The YouTube poll for today is the Star Wars franchise dead? We've been asking you for feedback on other storylines, franchises that you feel like got preached out of success. You said you had one comment you wanted to feature?
Well, there's a few about the different franchises. One of them just came through, said, speaking of Tom Cruise, you're missing out on the Mission Impossible franchise.
Should I watch that?
You'll enjoy it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you'll like it.
Some
of those movies are really good.
My husband has said that he's interested in watching those. So
and it does have a TV series that preceded it, but don't watch that.
I don't have that much time. Go ahead.
Here's another one. Person says, Gen X here. I like the first 3 of the Star Wars movies, but stopped caring by the time the rest came along.
I guess the first 3 is the 4, 5, 6.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He does say, though, Wizard of Oz went woke.
Oh, I saw the remake of The Wizard of Oz in the theater. Another horrible movie. Also, folks, I saw Wicked for Good because my 10-year-old wanted to watch it on her birthday. Did that movie suck? I hadn't.
Which one?
I thought Wicked. When I watched Wicked, I had put it off, and then when I watched it, I'm like, that was entertaining. That was better than I gave it credit for. Watched Wicked for Good because I thought, okay, it's something.
The sequel.
The sequel. That's something she's really wanted to watch. So okay, I'll watch it, and I watched it, and I messaged my husband during. I'm like, I'm so angry at this movie. This is so terrible.
I was gonna say it's the second act of the play. The whole story is one play, and they split it into 2 movies.
Chris on YouTube said, I'm 33, never seen Star Wars, Star Trek, etc. Neither have my kids. Zero desire to change that. Thanks for the comment, Chris. Silkstep said, not watching the Star Trek movie with Stacey Abrams in it as well. Is that real?
Was it a movie or a series?
Star Trek movie with Stacey Abrams?
She played the president of Earth. I think it was an episode in the series.
If it is, it's one of those series I don't watch.
I don't know this to be true. But FC says, didn't they somehow turn Luke Skywalker gay?
No.
No, you've got bad intel there, mister.
He turned him lame.
Chris said, Star Wars, they pretty much watch every single show movie besides the Lego stuff. The ship needs to be corrected.
Ship.
I said ship.
Okay, just making sure.
Right? Didn't I?
Yeah, absolutely.
I apologize if I didn't. Are we breaking here?
Yep.
We're going to go to a break. The YouTube live chat poll, we're asking you if the Star Wars franchise is dead. 7% of you said no, you love all of it. Then the rest of them are very close. 26% of you, 1/4 say it's cooked. 28% say no, but write the spaceship. 39% are with me and say you never cared about it anyway. Thank you for voting today. Mark Reardon coming up next.
Time now for today's Spotlight on Money, sponsored by Ethos.
When you serve as someone's mentor, you are making an investment with a limitless return.
I cannot think of any one particular thing that costs nothing